What's up, everybody? Welcome to Attack the Talk. I am your host, AJ. You know who we are, and you know why we're here. We're back to go ahead and talk some more Attack the Talk. Talk about the Attack on Titan series that is just so freaking amazing, obviously. And if you're here and you're on season 4 and episode 8, then you know how amazing it is.
Then you understand.
We will be continuing on with Assassin's Bullet, part 3, and we will go ahead and continue on with what we talked about last week, and that was, of course, the unfortunate Sasha Browse moment.
That's what we're starting with.
That's what we're starting with. We ended it with that last week, and we're starting with it. But yeah, we'll of course talk and get about we'll go ahead and we'll get into the episode when we do. But you guys see here, if you're watching us live, if you're watching us on Spotify or YouTube or wherever you guys go and watch us, you see also joining me are the Lexamundos
with Blue
and with Blue
say
the
hi,
Zach
Blue.
Attack
without Coda.
Without Coda today. Coda is home.
Say hi, Blue.
He'll be
say
back.
hi.
He'll be
We can
back.
only have one at a time.
I can't spoil you guys too much.
Look at Blue in the camera right now.
Yeah.
What a handsome boy.
Blue. I do want to mention that live with us in chat
He's over it.
and debatable as far as who was first.
Whoever was first to join
on
the
record
stream.
here in chat, we have the Jacob. That is our favorite Jaegerist. And then, the one who is most likely probably the first one, of course, the beautiful Zebra Cakes, because she
Big
is
fan,
always on standby, ready, and
Fan.
yeah.
And we did start a little bit later than usual today. Sorry, y'all.
Yeah,
Ping pong, It's getting real
Again.
competitive.
exactly. Yeah, literally prison sugar waxing. Oh man.
And sugar waxing? Girl, good luck.
Yeah.
Wild.
Are you using us as a distraction? Yeah, women are just brave like that.
Heck no. Jacob says. Women are just brave like that.
That's what I read right there.
Hell yeah, awesome. Couldn't have said it any better, Jacob.
Yeah. What a
put.
way with words you have.
We have 2 Q&As.
What a
We
way
really
with
have
word.
one. We talked about one that we did live
We have
last
like
week.
an update. And
But it'd be cool to go and see if we have if we have any more responses. And we'll go ahead and we'll look into that. Alexi will let us know.
Yes.
And then we do have a Q&A to ask you guys that was on topic with what we discussed last week in reference to, of course, Sasha's impending doom, unfortunately. Yeah. So we're here. The story continues. We're glad to be is real, and we feel it, and every time it happens, we are at a loss for words. So again, just appreciate all of the support and shout out to you guys. And more about that, of course, at the end of the podcast. So if you want to go ahead and hear,
if you want to hear how grateful we are, you have to
go
watch to
ahead
the
and,
end.
gush about how thankful and how much I love you guys, go ahead and stick around for the end of the podcast. But until then, we have business to talk about, y'all.
Yeah.
And of course, that's oh yeah, you're right. I don't know if we need it right now, do we?
I think it's fine.
I think it's fine.
It's still sunny.
The lighting's fine. It's 1,000 sunny. I was just telling Zach
Blue's hair.
since we got to an official start and about One Piece. I've continued watching it, and I'm over at, of course, CP0 part. And one thing that I noticed that, of course, I had to look into, and I was like, that is so freaking cool, is, of course, when you go ahead and you recognize, voice actors. And, of course, I'm on record to go ahead and say that I do watch dub. And so whenever I come across, certain dub voice actors, I'm like, damn, you know what? That voice is very familiar. And it's been a while since I've heard Rob Lucci's voice.
It has, huh?
So when I heard Rob Lucci's voice, I immediately was like, wait a minute, I know this voice. And I was trying to go and figure it out, and all of a sudden it hit me, and I was like, whoa, what the hell? Rob Lucci's voice, right? In the dub, it's the same voice as our guy Zeke Yeager.
Really?
Yeah.
I was about to ask. I
Oh,
was like,
no
who does he
way.
voice? I don't know who Rob Lucci is.
Yeah, so Rob Lucci.
Okay, Zeke Yeager.
That's
Got
right.
It.
You've seen Rob Lucci before because of just we've talked in this and that, and I think Rob Lucci is a character that I think kind of like brought
black,
up about
curly hair and a pigeon.
Yeah, if you saw him, you might be like, oh, I think I kind of remember, but
Maybe.
I've showed you before.
Turns into a cheetah.
Yeah, he's Rob Lucci's. He's cool.
Dang.
I think Jacob might disagree.
could not
because
remember.
Jacob in chat says CP0 sucks.
Yeah, he did. They do suck.
And And yeah,
Especially now, they're obsolete.
so I went to go ahead and confirm, and I looked, and I'd have to look to go ahead and see what the voice actor's name is again. Forgive me for that, but he also voices Dobby as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait.
And would you have known that Dobby and Zeke are the same voice?
No, I didn't know that.
It's so
Wait, what?
so crazy. Oh, we apologize. Jacob said the stream
I'm
keeps
sorry,
freezing
Jacob.
for me. Zebra Cakes, if you can confirm that as well. I don't know
Yeah,
if
is it the
Jason
stream or is it
Library.
just
if the stream is freezing.
Jacob? Look at Blue's mohawk running in the
There
camera
you
right
go,
now.
Blue.
Look at that.
Look at that.
What a punk.
Oh, yeah, he got nervous.
So the name is
Jason Liebrecht.
okay. Zebra Cake says same. Wow. Sorry.
oh, it
we're
is?
having
Oh,
some
for both of you?
connection
Oh, then maybe
issues.
it's a stream issue then.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi
Twitch, come on now,
So-
Twitch. Is Twitch down right now? What's happening?
It just got back for me. Okay, cool. So
Is speed going crazy right now?
hopefully that all sorts itself out over on that end. If not, we will be experiencing technical difficulties, and we can only apologize for that and hope that it gets better. But yeah, so Zeke, Rob Lucci, Dobby. And what's cool about that is those are some pretty damn cool roles right there.
Yeah, those are some well-known roles and a good variety of voice, I feel.
Yeah, I feel like that those are like the range.
That's pretty good range.
Like I feel
Yeah.
like
That's pretty good.
Rob Lucci and Zeke are kind of similar in terms of like just.
It's just the Dobby that threw me.
But the
for a
Dobby,
loop.
that one threw me off. Yeah,
Huh.
and I mean he's got a ton of voice cred. So I
Yeah.
mean you can go ahead and look into it and see. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of other voices that you are familiar with. Like for example, for anybody that watches I heard something about you and Dobby, 7 Minutes in Heaven.
That was crazy.
Oh.
I think some might, but if it's the Dobby that we're talking about, I think you're talking about
Not the house
Dobby
elf.
from Harry Potter.
Not the house elf, the one from My Hero Academia. I was just thinking about that. I was like, someone's
Yeah.
going to think we're talking about the house elf.
All Might better. I think All Might was the best.
Was.
Yeah. So yeah.
Oh, he was in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
What I was gonna say is
Oi. You okay?
Dragon Ball Super, and also Dragon Ball Z. He also does what's his name? He's from one of the movies where he has the Trunks sword and he has like the mohawk.
Tapion.
And is it Tapion?
Yeah, he also voices Jace in Kai.
Oh really?
Yeah, the Aussie.
Yeah, Jace, and then he also does in Super. I think he does one of the feline gods of destruction. I think it's
Beerus?
Champa or something like that. or-
Champa. He does Beerus' brother, Champa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at
So-
it right now.
Jacob says now it's Endeavor.
Oh, for who's the better
Who's
one?
the better?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Endeavor is definitely a wise choice as far as who is the top superhero.
Yeah.
But yeah, also Zebra Cakes started watching some of the episodes that I've left off on, excuse me, and then I wanted her to go ahead and see what early One Piece looks like in comparison, because when I put it on, the intro, it's the colors and everything and stuff, the illustration, it looks so beautiful, right?
And,
And so that
So
immediately caught her
polished.
attention. She was like, "Oh my gosh, like that looks so cool!" And so she actually started like watching for a little bit, and
it caught her artist eye, huh?
yeah, no doubt. And then I showed her early One Piece, and she was like, "Oh my god, I feel like my." What'd she say? She goes, "I feel like my my eyes are like fuck. What did she say? I don't know. Maybe if you can go ahead and help me out, but I'll watch anything to give me dessert." Yeah. I watched episode 1. It was good. Yeah, but what did you describe your eyes as? I thought it was pretty funny. You're like talking about how you felt like your eyes were like static or something like that, or the way that
I know the screen's all grainy and shit.
Yeah.
yeah.
You're watching like 240.
Someone once told me they're like, it's like looking at sandpaper. I was
Yeah.
like, ugh.
Yeah. We'll probably watch episode 2 eventually. Over some Talenti.
Talenti, perhaps.
Yeah, there you go. It's cool because again, like, it caught her attention, and then she even, baby, you can go ahead and confirm if you want, but she even said that could be a show that she has on while she's working on her art.
Oh.
So
That's sick.
that she might decide to go ahead and potentially try to go ahead and watch and listen to some One Piece, and there's a lot of it to go ahead and of course watch, and yeah. So
You're not gonna be disappointed.
yeah. And it was funny too is she was tripping out on how the female characters are drawn in the newer episodes in comparison to like the older ones.
OG Nami versus current Nami is like a huge jump.
Yeah, all of the female characters now, like the way they're drawn, even just like with like over in Egghead, like their future costumes and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh my
wow,
God.
so Scandi.
But I told her, I was like,
So it gets worse as it gets further.
It gets more like fan service.
Well, you can definitely see how the times change too. Like,
okay.
Yeah, so it was one of those things where I told her, I was like,
there's a lot of
early
liberation
on
from Toei in terms of size and
it
jiggles
wasn't.
at all.
Yeah, it was not like
Yeah.
that.
They didn't have jiggle physics yet.
The movies, they go a little over the top with it.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that's kind of just unfortunately the part of it where it's like, man, you know, I mean, I get why they do it, but
less fandom than most other things. Let's be real here.
100%. But also, that's why I love Attack on Titan 2 is because it has zero of that, you know?
I feel like I was being attacked by a bunch of weird anime sex freaks animating in a basement.
That's so weird.
Yeah, they do try to go ahead and focus over on some of that sometimes.
Perfect.
She went from a low B to a double D for what? Yeah, that's Nami. That would be Oda's favorite character.
I mean, his wife does cosplay Nami. She's a Nami cosplayer.
Oh.
So.
Jacob goes for
Good
Pete.
for him.
For Pete.
Yeah, that's why. All right, guys, of course, are going to talk about what we have been up to, and we want to, of course, hear from you guys on what you guys have been up to, and so Zebra Cakes, Jacob, if you want to go ahead and let us know what you guys have been up to. You guys do anything fun this past week, and we'll go ahead and we'll do the same. I don't know if anybody wants to start. Did anybody go ahead and do anything fun or exciting, or maybe watching any shows or anything that you want to go ahead and mention to our friends?
I'm sick.
Lexi is sick.
I'm sorry.
I'm currently sick. It took
weird.
this long for the kids finally to give me one of their colds.
Really?
But
Oh,
I'm just
man.
glad that it took this long, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised it took this
That's
long
like
to get
that's
sick.
got to be a record or something.
I know. I was doing so good with my sanitizing, but you know what? Not good enough lately, I guess.
I have a feeling it's only a matter of time before that same thing happens with Zebra Cakes.
Yeah, you just get sick around kids, especially because you're going to be inside, girl. So
Yeah.
a lot more
They
susceptible.
contract the wildest shit that your
Yeah.
immune system has never comprehended before.
Yeah, no, I have kids come up to me and they're like, I have blah, blah, blah-itis. And I'm like, what? Should you even be here right now?
disease. I have the first one to get it.
Yeah, they're like, I have an ear infection. I have a da-da-da-da-da. I have a whatever. Like, I'm like, you guys are supposed to be made of rubber right now. Why do all of you have like some new disease? Like, I have kids that are like, I have bronchitis right now. And I'm like,
No, you don't.
what do you mean you have bronchitis right now?
Oh, man.
Like, I have an infection right now. I'm like,
It's like those
kids just be getting diseases.
It's like those kids where they're like, they're sick, but it's like when you see their appearance, they have like the freaking dry boogies and everything all
Oh,
around there. And
God.
they're just
Yeah.
like, oh.
Thankfully, I don't really have kids like that. I have kids that look fine, and they're like, I have an
or
immuno
the ones that have the dirt
disease.
noses because they
They're
keep
just
doing
trying to
that.
get out of play.
I do have kids that do that. I have kids that see like, oh, we're on the blacktop. This is gonna be so gross. Prepare.
Uh-oh.
And they're like, the blacktop dirt is on their hands, and they're like, oh, I want to get rid of the dirt. So what do I do?
Oh!
And then they like use their
hell
spit.
no.
I've seen a kid use his spit as hand sanitizer. He like spit in his hand, and I see it like come out of his mouth and land in his hand.
Oh,
And he's like-
hell no.
Rubbing his hands in it, and I was
Zebra
like,
Cakes.
I am never touching that
Zebra
kid.
Cakes also caught a student doing something. I don't know.
I have
who
this
else.
girl that keeps
Eating
eating the art
clay.
supplies, and I'm too scared to embarrass her in front of her friends. I caught her eating clay. No, that's a whole thing.
Okay, so let me ask you.
You
that's
gotta
another
tell
thing.
her
I
straight
don't want to
after
embarrass
class.
How old do you
kids.
think that girl is?
Honestly,
Please tell me it's not double.
I have kids now that eat rocks, so
So
it could be
Zebra
like
Cakes
I'm gonna
told
guess
me-
she's like around 7 years old, 8
Zebra
years
Cakes
old.
told me 4th grade.
Oh, so that's literally my kids. That's a 9-year-old, 8-year-old.
Okay. So
That's an
there you go.
8-year-old. Yeah. You know what? I have fourth grade. I have fourth graders.
One digit. Or
No, I have fourth graders that I've caught eating rocks, and I've had to be like, we don't do that here. All right, so spit it out and go run a lap.
That's crazy. Oh
It's
my
like,
God.
bye. And they're like,
how big
Yes,
are these?
Miss
How
Lexi.
big are these rocks?
they're like the little
The
pebbles.
little ones.
Why?
It's like a little nerd.
Who? Where did they
so much
get
more
this?
mature.
from?
Rock candy.
Real quick before we lose it over in chat, Jacob also mentioned what he's been up to. Zach, do you want to go ahead and read what Jacob's been up to?
I've been playing video games, man. I cannot wait for the trilogy of Demon Slayer. Favorite demon is the best demon, Kokoshibo.
Oh, is that a game?
Is it a Demon Slayer game or is that unrelated? Are those two different things?
I think those are two unrelated things.
I think he's just been playing a lot of video games, which we gotta hear which video game it is. And he's also excited for the Demon Slayer movie.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta know which games you've been playing.
Jacob also say,
grow up.
Being under 20 in the big 25, just grow up.
Not for real.
In the big 25? We're in 2025. You shouldn't be under 20 years old.
And Zebra Kicks continues, like she was grabbing pieces of the glue stick with her nail and trying to slip it into her mouth.
She like knew it was wrong, but she's like, I gotta do it.
I saw it and she looked like
she's eating
Golem.
horses.
Oh my god.
No, when you see kids do things that they don't think someone's watching while they do it, it feels weird. No, I exactly know what you mean, Zebra Cakes. Because I will see kids doing things that they think no one is around to see them do. And it's just weird and gross and it's just so like human. And you can't help but be like, this is too intrusive. I can't tell them that's wrong. Like, I can't let them know I saw.
They don't even look around.
Like with the kid eating rocks or like the spit kid, or I have kids that just like do weird things on their own. And I'm like, I can't just call you out in front of the whole class. I can't do that.
I would love to interview some of my old teachers.
I feel like I'm keeping a deep dark secret. And if I don't say anything, she'll grow up evil. Okay, I don't feel like that. But it does feel like very, like you said, it feels very intrusive. To be like, oh my god, I just saw that kid pick his nose. I'm not going to be like, don't do that.
Do they pick and eat?
You can pick your friends and you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your friend's nose.
They don't pick and eat, right?
So it's a hit or miss, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Some of them do.
Some of them do, yeah. Jacob clarifies, he says, the new Doom game and Assassin's Creed Shadows, bro. Peak.
Oh, that's what you've been playing.
Oh, is that the Samurai Ninja one? Is it good? Is it good? Is Assassin's Creed finally back?
Have they finally done something?
Dude, GTA 6 is crazy.
It got delayed again, huh?
Yeah.
But it does. The graphics do look insane.
Oh my god, it looks so good.
It's honestly pretty scary as far as like how far we've come.
We're making sex bots. It's scary.
Oh my gosh.
It's here.
I'm sure Bix and eats unless she only loves manufactured goods over organic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how else are they supposed to build up their immune system? They just put stuff in their mouth.
Yeah. Jacob says it's good, bro. I'm a fiend for Japan.
I'm a Japanese fiend.
There you go. Yeah.
Speaking of, Luca has an off day today, and he's in Japan.
Oh, shout out.
So he's just like spending the day in Japan right now.
Hopped a plane over there?
He's what?
Hopped a plane or a boat?
No, he's staying in Japan.
Oh,
he's training in Japan. So he's literally like, it's so funny because Luca got into volleyball through Haikyuu. So he literally feels like he's in Haikyuu right now.
Damn, training arc?
Like he's like staying in like in dorms. And it's literally what he's doing. He's staying in dorms and he has to like walk to...
Really?
When he has to walk to training, it feels like when he was like, I feel like Hinata when he walked to practice every day. He was like, everything looks the same. Like it's the same exact everything. He was like, except I'm like 3 times his height.
Yeah.
I was like,
no, a lot of anime like structural design is based off of like real photos.
Yeah, like how it actually
like they take reference photos and they'll go back.
Yeah. Luca showed me his view from one of his hotels and I was like, he's like, here, look at this school. And it's a bunch of like elementary school kids. Like, it looks like they were doing some like military training, honestly.
Really?
Like it looked in depth. But he showed it to me and I was like, I think I've literally seen that scene in an anime. I was like, it literally looks so familiar. Like I've been there, but I've just seen it animated.
They stand in line. They have their like, I mean, we all stood on numbers. They just do it without the numbers.
Yeah, they're just on like a dirt
that's why it looks more military because there's no like guided organization to it.
It's just like a dirt patch. Yeah, because my kids have dots and numbers that they stand on. It's like the same thing except theirs is dirt.
We're just like, all right, go stand on your dots. They're just like, hey, square up now. And they're like, all right.
Okay.
Now you're gonna play the piano.
It's crazy how Luca's just living he's just living our best lives.
I know. I'm like trying to vicariously live through Luca. Like he'll send me photos and stuff. He posted a vlog on YouTube, by the way, if you guys want to check it out.
Oh, that's sick.
Of him in Japan. He gets lost with his teammate and it's kind of funny. But yeah, I like how we're just like vicariously living through Luca because he's having like such a cool freaking
Is he in like Kyoto area, Tokyo area?
He was in Osaka.
Oh, okay,
and then
so he's
he
south.
went to Tokyo.
Okay.
And now I can tell you where he is.
Let's stalk him.
Hold on, let me just scroll over the entire Pacific Ocean real quick to get to him. Or I'll just go in my messages because it says
Real
at the
quick,
top.
Jacob's his
He's in Tokyo, Shibuya.
dream is to become a ghoul.
Shibuya.
Yeah, he's in Shibuya right now because he's like, I have a day off.
Oh, that's so
I'm going to
sick.
Shibuya. And he was saying, like, since the portions are small and the food is actually, like, not genetically modified, so it goes right through you.
Tastes way better.
He was like, it's so nice because you eat something really good, you walk around for like an hour and you're hungry again. You can eat more.
Yep.
I was like, oh, perfect, babe. So you're just eating everything.
Hey,
He was
we
like,
all
yeah,
know
it's the
what
best.
the best part is. It's the bidets on every toilet.
Yeah, he showed me. He gave me a
That's
tour
the best
of his
part.
hotel room that he was last in, and he was like, Japanese toilet, of course. And it's like this beautiful little oval with all the buttons on the
It's
side.
perfect. It's perfect. And then no trash anywhere. Oh,
Yeah, there's like no trash.
open container.
Yeah. And they have like just your meal, your bento boxes and like your little meal boxes are just like, here's your meal.
Family Marts are the best.
Yeah. Enjoy.
Oh, 7-Eleven. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm getting flashbacks.
He
I
got
miss it. I
he
miss
got
it
a
so
strawberry cream sandwich from 7-Eleven.
much. They're so good.
He was like, this is one of my favorite snacks. You could just like buy a little acai bowl.
Oh,
Like you just
yeah.
go out
The-
to 7-Eleven and get that
The
stuff.
onigiri are actually like really good.
He'll just go to, he's like, I'm just going to walk to 7-Eleven and get a strawberry milk. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's like
That's crazy.
Like, yeah, my
It's
friends are drinking, but
normal.
I'm drinking strawberry milk.
It's normal. The locals do it. It's just so good.
Yeah.
I feel like over
Good.
here you don't want to linger in a like
No.
California 7-Eleven
No,
for
not
too long.
really.
No.
Not a 7-Eleven down
Then
in
you'll get
SoCal.
approached by someone.
They don't got no strawberry cream sandwiches there.
No, they have.
They have
one
hot
day-
pickles.
They have one day in July.
Yeah, one day in July, and they have hot pickles if you want a pickle.
True.
Maybe some cup of noodle.
Zebra Cakes also says, I feel like I've been working all week. I've actually started taking naps.
Good for you.
Oh, naps are
Like, I'm
great.
not trying to work. I want to just bake sour bread.
Oh, and she loves bidets. Don't we
And
all?
she loves bidets.
I think every place needs a
I think
bidet.
we should all just go to Japan.
Yeah.
we
You know,
We should just
agreed.
pack up shop. We're
bucket
all
list.
attractive. We could go ahead.
we could do
and
it.
We could model and promote the podcast and
Because
do it
they
in Japan.
That would be great.
love U.S. knowledge of anything.
Ronnie would just have a lot more competition in the art scene.
Yeah. Sorry, Ronnie.
But I think she'd be cool with
But
that.
it'd be unique because it'd be like, oh, this is a foreign artist. You know.
Exactly. And you know what? That's the selling point.
We have foreign education from a first world country.
Can you imagine though thinking about that? Like if we ever did get to that point where we take the podcast on the road,
Yeah. We're gonna be in like a camper
like
van.
we're approached with an
Attack the Talk
opportunity to
tour.
go ahead and do like the podcast live somewhere, or to go ahead and do something like out over on the street or something, you know, or just whatever the case is. Like,
Taking it into the world.
We're having an
before-
Attack the Talk
while
tour.
we're doing the movie.
Yeah, we'll be in Baltimore next weekend, guys. Check us out.
Hey, guys,
I'm just
if
kidding.
you- if
we're not
you
gonna.
can
We don't.
get-
We're not going anywhere.
Us going, we'll do the whole movie as a tour.
Yeah.
yeah.
24-hour live stream.
Fuck.
The whole Attack on Titan movie, and we talk about
Oh,
it.
fuck, Jacob. Oh my god, are you gonna read that, Zach?
Shoot! Some fine girls can approach and leave me behind a sketchy building if I did. Oh well, my last view would be something beautiful.
That's
Oh.
like, that's some Sanji
He's
shit
like, I
right
don't
there.
mind. Like, if she's pretty, even if I
Pretty
die.
lady. That's all Sanji does now.
Pretty
Lady. That's wild.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm right there with you. Oh, but
We'd make
I
good money.
watched to share with you guys what I've been watching.
Yeah.
I watched all of the Twilight Saga series in 2 days.
Really?
Yeah.
How so?
And I
crazy
get it.
big.
How many
I
movies
get
are
it.
there?
There's Twilight, New Moon, Eclipse, Breaking Dawn Part 1, Breaking Dawn Part 2. There's 5.
5 of them,
And each of them is around like 2.5 hours.
Quintilogy is
5 movies in 2 days, huh?
Yeah. So I had work off on Wednesday, and I've been sick, you know?
Yeah.
So what else am I going to do then? Lay around, drink like 3 Gatorades in one sitting, and then
you know?
watch Twilight. So
True.
I started it on Tuesday when I got home from work because I was like, I'm just thinking about Twilight. Let's watch it. And I started watching it. Then I basically finished it.
What is it on?
Wednesday.
What's available?
It's all on Netflix.
Oh, really?
All of it is on Netflix.
That's crazy.
Wow.
So I watched it all
Public
in
access.
2 days, and I get it.
You get
you
it?
get it.
Does it still hold up?
It's funny.
It doesn't,
because when you're
is it cringy now?
watching, it's always cringy. But you know what? When you're watching the first Twilight, you're like, oh my god, this is the blueprint. Like this is the quirky girl blueprint. Like it's so funny because it's so like perfectly cliche, but it's not cliche because they're the blueprint.
Yeah.
Like when Edward shows her his bedroom and he's like, I have no bed because I don't sleep. There's books everywhere because he's smart. There's vinyl everywhere because he's cool like that. He listens to vinyl music.
And listens to music.
He plays piano because he's just suave like that. Like it's such like an iconic romance novel brought into a movie.
Yeah.
That it's just like, I will say sometimes it's way too like, okay, this is a romance drama novel. So I'm like, I would rather not watch this. Like sometimes I'm watching and I'm like, this is written on Wattpad. This is Wattpad.
Oh my gosh.
Realizing Bella's dad is actually my type. Charlie? He's a cool dad. He's a great dad.
He is a good dad.
What a simp. I would never. What do you mean? Some of those vampires are cute. But you know what? When I was first watching, I was like, I want to be a Cullen so bad. Oh, Team Edward. And then as I kept watching, I was like...
Were you a Team Edward?
No, growing up, I was Team Jacob just because I like
Okay.
werewolves more. But at first, I was
now-
watching and I was like...
Because there's like obviously there's like a debate about that, right? Or
Yeah, there's like a
something?
whole debate on if she should be with Jacob or with Edward.
Yeah.
And she ends up with Edward. Spoiler. It's only been out since
me.
like 2000. Yeah, she should be with me. Not Jacob, not Edward. A man with a mustache that would die for me. Yeah, Charlie. I mean, AJ, yeah. We're not talking about the dad from Twilight. We're talking
Hey.
about AJ.
I got you, baby.
A man with a mustache that would die for me. But it makes more, I don't know, you just gotta watch it. It makes more sense
Okay,
for her
hold
to
on,
be
I'm
with
gonna ask you.
Jacob, but she
What
loves
is
Edward
better? Being a vampire or being a werewolf?
more. A werewolf is better.
A werewolf is better?
I don't want to live forever and be cold forever and constantly have to be a vegetarian.
I like howling at moon.
Yeah, I think a werewolf
I
would be
like to
better.
run on all fours and howl at moon.
You know me, I'm a simple man.
I will say though, Jacob,
One might say I'm very dog-like.
I don't know if Taylor Lautner owns a shirt in the last like 3 movies. I don't think he's wearing a shirt in any of his scenes.
He's full beast.
He's just gone full.
He committed to that role though, huh? He got
Yeah,
jacked for it and
he
stuff.
did.
You know, didn't
I
he say
watched
that he
some
was going
behind
to
the
get
scenes.
recasted or something? I think I remember seeing something where he said he was
I
going to get
don't know.
recasted, but then he ended up putting in like substantial work, obviously, to get in like.
I watched a
peak
lot
shape.
of, obviously
turned
when I
Shark
finished
Boy
watching
into a
it, I was
furry.
like, I need more. And I watched a lot of behind the scenes stuff.
See if he
And
gets those
apparently they
vampire,
had
'cause I
like
would
a
be
whole like,
hairless.
they had like a whole like wolf training camp. Like all the, like the group of, you know, the Clearwaters and those Native American tribes that are the wolves. They had like actually on set like a training camp for them to be like, okay, you guys got to be buff because you guys are wolves. So we're going to train every day we're here.
That's sick as fuck. That's a cool experience.
There you go.
And Taylor Lautner said that in between scenes, he would be caught sneaking food because he was trying to make his 4,000 calorie daily limit.
Oh, that's a lot of calories.
He was trying to eat 4,000 calories a day to maintain his buff ass physique.
Oh, bro, that's crazy.
And I don't know if you remember, the brother Emmett, part of the Cullens, Rosalie's brother, he was really buff too. Turns out that, I mean, you see him throughout the series. Like by the time it gets to Breaking Dawn at the end of the movies, Emmett is massive. Like he is like way bigger than Jacob. He's massive.
You think they were roided up?
The only reason why supposedly is because he felt like he just needed to really be buff for the role and took it seriously and never gave up just being buff. So he just kept working out and did more and more and more calories. So then by the time we're at the end of the movie, which given Emmett is known to just be a big, strong vampire. He's just known to be like, that's his fighting style is very like brawly. So he just made himself as buff as he could. And by the time you get to the final movies, he's like massive.
Why do I feel like if AOT was a thing, obviously at that time, which I think it was, but it obviously wasn't as, you know, crazy, or maybe it was. I could be speaking out of line because, you know, I wasn't really like watching it at that time. But why do I feel like that actor is like an easy like fan cast Rhina type? Am I wrong?
Emmett?
For that time?
Maybe for that time, yeah. But he was he's like dark haired. Well, I guess he could just dye his hair. I guess if he bleached his hair, because he did by the end of the movie, he did have just like a buzz cut.
Oh, okay.
So I guess
Real quick
was
in
just
chat,
buff.
we got Zebra Cakes would want to be a vampire so she can be
so
hairless,
she could be hairless.
and glittery.
No,
Like
they have hair.
She says like a TJ Maxx candle.
Bro,
And,
did you watch the
Jacob-
movie? I would always notice freaking Robert Pattinson's hairy ass arms in all of the movies. He's like has his arm around Bella, and you just see like from wrist down, it looks like he's wearing a sweater. Like, dude, you're hairy.
And then Jacob Here he says, as far as the TJ Maxx candle chat, he goes, I work there. Do you know? So he knows all about those TJ Maxx candles.
Oh, you work
there
at TJ Maxx?
Right on, man.
So you know all about those sparkly candles.
Zebra goes, Taylor Lautner's wife is also named Taylor Lautner.
Yeah, her name is also Taylor, but I think it's
Yeah.
spelled differently.
Mm-hmm.
So and they got married, so it's Taylor Lautner.
And Jacob wants to be Aaron, of course. And Zebra Cake said that she wanted to be Alice so bad, like the cutest white woman.
Oh my god, yeah. Alice is so cute.
She's the future seer one.
She's the one with the little pixie cut.
You
She's
mean
super
Historia?
cute.
Yeah, Historia.
Yeah, Historia.
You know what's funny is that I went ahead and I saw an article recently about AOT characters, and she was the one. So interesting. I was interested in the article because it said like the character that had the most potential, but they end up kind of like ruining this character, right? And that character was Historia, for whatever reason. And I remember thinking to myself, I was like, okay, I mean, I can kind of see where they're coming from because it's like her role was so like nerfed because she's just the queen now.
Yeah, then
Whereas
she just went to
before
queen.
she had this kind of like glow up and she just became this very confident, version of herself because she was always a people pleaser.
Yeah.
And then, but also too, I was like, I mean, her role obviously grew to a certain point where like she becomes one of the most important characters.
Oh yeah.
I
I mean, she's literally like.
mean, she's the freaking queen of parody.
You know how we feel about who's the father of that kid, but
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. We know who the dad is.
Yeah.
There's no need to hide it from
So
us.
like,
Yeah.
again, to our theory, like while she wasn't a part of the story overall, as we get to our conclusion, like she's still like, I mean,
Queen.
she's still the queen.
Yeah,
and
she's
also,
still literally
like,
the queen.
She was in the know. It's not like Aaron left the island and didn't tell her as far as what was happening and what he was planning on doing.
Yeah.
And also maybe he wanted to do something else before he left.
I know.
How long was he gone?
Bear his child. That's I feel like that's something where we would need like a video like Lexi talked about last week, where it's like the timeline stuff and
Yeah,
all that.
it's
like,
hard.
We would need to go ahead and really see as far as
See how long she was carrying that
Because
baby.
it's getting
for. I wanna
close
know.
to
how long
him.
Aaron was gone for.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if it does like
It said it in the timeline. I can't remember what it is. I remember like he was saying like, hey, then this many years later, then this many years later, then this person is this
See,
age.
that's the thing.
And that's how old
Years
this
is what
person
I kept
was.
seeing.
Yeah.
Well, if Aaron is gone
And I'm
for
trying
that
to
amount of
remember.
time, it's years, and I mean that doesn't go along with our theory of
Doesn't
him
fit our agenda.
of him being the,
2 to 3 months.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he was out over in Marley for 2-3 months.
Yeah. Does that
Oh,
sound
that-
about
All right,
right?
then that's his baby.
That dude's the dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's his
Come
baby.
on.
That sounds right.
Come on.
I'm so excited that confirmed my headcanon.
So
Yeah.
funny. Zebra Case goes, "OMG, Jacob, you work at TJ Maxx? That's girly pop."
That's
and Jacob
girly
goes,
pop.
"It's me."
It's me. He's like, I don't know what
You
that
are
means.
the girly
even.
pop.
Nothing wrong with being girly
You are
pop.
the poppiest of girlies.
There you go.
There's nothing wrong with being girly pop.
So yeah,
That just means you make women feel safe.
so Twilight.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, Twilight. Been playing a lot of Overwatch.
It was no. It's me. I'm the father.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay, my bad. Been playing a lot of Overwatch and working out and
for you, bro.
I started making jewelry.
Okay.
Pretty into out of like wires,
Making that.
Really?
tea.
Okay.
and I'm currently making our sister Marissa a bracelet.
Oh really?
Ooh.
Yeah, I texted her last night and I was like, if I were to make you a bracelet, what color would you want? If I did make you one. She was like, if you were to, it would be this color, this color, this color. And then she sent like the giggling emoji.
Uh-huh.
I was like, okay, thanks. I just need to say Pink Pantheress has bangers. She does! Pink Pantheress has bangers! She's a good artist. Yeah, I love her. I love Pink Pantheress. She's very girly pop. You can't help but just bob your head. But yeah, that's been my,
It's kind of what you've been up to this
yeah.
past week.
And Dad and I are getting too good at ping pong. Mm-hmm. It's getting scary, actually. I can't keep up with myself.
You're hitting Ultra Instinct for ping pong.
Yeah. We're playing and it's just like, and it's like barely going over the net. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm doing any of this right now.
You guys are like Forrest Gump hitting it against the wall to himself.
Yeah, that's what Dad was saying. He was like, you're going to be Forrest Gump.
It's crazy.
Can't wait till we're on a cruise ship. Me and Dad are going to be playing for money on the cruise ship out there.
jeez. You guys are gonna be conning people.
Because we play on a table that is 60 inches long.
Yeah.
And a ping pong table is like 1.5 feet more than that or something. So,
Yeah.
Good,
They're
good,
pretty big
good.
difference there.
Yeah.
Right on. What are you, Zach? You chilling?
Mother's Day.
Yes. Okay, we didn't talk about Mother's Day, did we?
No. That was like, hung out with my mom, me, her, and Coda, and then we had dinner. We spent the day together. Working on some in the shop, tune back later. Yeah, I've just been taking care of Coda. We've been going on walks. He made a friend at the park the other day.
Okay.
His name is Rex. He's 4 years old.
Aww.
His owner's name is Joey, and he lives like right down the street from us.
Okay.
So I was like, hey man, I know you said, because he's off leash. His dog Rex is 4 years old, completely off leash. Like the dog's gone out the back, walked to the front just to sit on the porch and watch the world go by, and just waited for Joey to get home.
Yeah.
Of course.
I was like, if I ever see Rex, I'm sure he'll tell me how to take him home. He was like, I appreciate that. If I ever see Coda, well, I know you live next to the park, so
Yeah.
yeah. But it was cool.
That's cool.
He's doing good, dude. That dog,
Coda's getting big and he's
that
becoming a little bit of a
poops
menace,
bigger
right?
than some people's poops.
Dang, it's starting.
Yeah.
I know.
A little dookie monster.
And then he's like, I'm hungry.
I know.
Well, no wonder
Feed me
you are
more.
empty now.
Dude, you went from full to empty.
Jake has a W dog.
Yeah, pretty much my weekend with the kids.
Yeah, I spent my weekend with the kids.
Just working. I don't know. Fire Force came out on Friday after we did the pods.
Oh, new season?
What season?
They've been out, season 3.
Oh,
So it's a new episode.
Season
of
3,
season
yeah,
three
been
still going
coming
on?
out, yeah. It started, I think we're on like, what, the 4th episode? 5th episode?
Oh.
Some people were talking shit on the animation. Sorry, we're not all One Piece, Demon Slayer, and like
Is the
Yeah.
animation just...
all the, like Jujutsu Kaisen.
We're
Like,
just
sorry.
a little spoiled.
Yeah, I was like, you guys have to understand, new gen anime is like so spoiled right now.
You know,
Go watch original One Piece and see what we grew up on.
Yeah.
yeah. That's that 1999 stuff right there.
Yeah,
Go watch some
dude.
original
Early
stuff.
2000s
Has some
stuff.
Cowboy Bebop era stuff, Trigun stuff.
Do they still have their little moments over on Fire Force where you're like, come on? Like,
Oh yeah, you have to. Yeah,
there's got to be
it's a
fan
staple.
service.
It's a staple. I will admit, like
You need your token girls
in
that
this season,
fall out of
it's
their
definitely
clothes.
been a bit more tame. I'll say.
Okay,
it
good.
happens. It happens. Like, don't. This is gonna be there, but it's like tamer. It's not as like it doesn't take as long of the time. But some people are talking shit on the animation, and I think the animation was pretty good that episode. The last one that came out, there's a big old fire blast. There's a character gets into like a new form and stuff. It's cool. But I have also been spoiled, and I know what's to come. So I think they're saving the budget for that.
Oh, okay.
Because they do that. They'll have like a couple, like Solely, they have a couple episodes where it's like, and then they'll have like all of a sudden really good animation for like a big fight, and
Like,
that's
sorry,
it.
we need to figure out our budget and our timing.
Speaking of Cowboy Bebop,
There you go. That's what Zebra Cakes described the early One Piece as. That's that fuzzy quality TV. Felt like I rubbed my eyes before every scene.
Yeah.
She said, but I love it though.
looks like you're watching a tube television.
So to Fire Force, I remember when we started watching it in season 1, right, Lex? One thing that was really cool and was interesting to me was the voice actor who does the main character.
Shinra.
Like his voice, I remember it was like, obviously I didn't recognize the voice. I thought it was such an interesting voice.
Yeah, it was unique.
And
I know, I do love it. That's one of the few dubs with the main character. I'm like, this is like a very. It stands out from most other most other main characters' voices.
yeah. And also it helped too that I think season 2 had Callan
Derek
Goff.
Snow.
My stars or
I
something.
know. My stars. Yeah, having Kellen Goff in it helps.
Do you want to do me a favor,
Derek
Lex?
Snow is the guy.
Let's turn on the time to talk sign.
Yeah.
Just to see. Just trying to lose some sunlight here. See if it helps anything. We'll let the cameras kind of adjust. They will adjust as we go, but just a little something.
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, that's cool, man.
We've been pretty tame.
Yeah.
How's your week been?
Zerix goes, I'm so tired of talking about anime. I want to go to Japan. I want to be them. I want to feel those giant hamster dogs.
They're called
wanna feed them.
capybaras, zebra cakes. Hamster dogs is crazy.
Yeah.
Those big guinea pigs.
Jacob has a question for you, Zach.
I don't know. I don't know what the preferred order is. I think it's just your preference, to be honest. I'd say start with Soul Eater just because it came out first. Go in chronological order of release. Kind of like what you're supposed to do with Star Wars. You're supposed to start 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. But yeah, I'd say just watch Soul Eater and then watch it. But it doesn't matter. If you want some visual stimulation, I'd say watch Fire Force.
Yeah, I remember thinking season 1 Fire Force was like, okay, this is unique. This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
They kind of lost me a little bit season 2.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
They're the same universe. They're just like completely different eras. So it's like take it as your own stride. They're different stories.
Yeah.
Oh, is that confirmed that Soul Eater and Fire Force are
I think I remember seeing something about that too.
they're in the same universe?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't even know that. Unless I did and I forgot about it.
Hey, Tish is here in chat. She says, hi, I can't stay, but I didn't want to break my streak. What's
cool.
up, Tish? Thanks for popping
No,
in.
thanks for
saying
stopping
hi.
in, Tish.
Shout out.
How's your week been? Yeah.
Hopefully your week's been good. Actually, she is like
In town, yeah.
in town, so I hope you're enjoying your time here in Cali, and obviously we're glad that you popped in, said hi, and yeah. So
Hoping it's
shout
not
out
too
to Tish.
cold.
Yeah.
I know.
All right.
Yeah.
Not too cold. Yeah.
Yeah, she's used to the heat.
Yeah.
You could say that, Jacob.
Yeah.
So
You could
they're
say that.
firefighters?
Yeah,
You could say they're firefighters.
Yeah, that's an answer. That's an answer for sure.
Technically, yes. And literally, yes.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, I remember when we first saw the little teaser of it, like the trailer of it. It was like firefighters, obviously, and stuff. I was like, okay, that looks pretty cool. It looks unique. And then it starts off with like the main character like doing his thing like in a battle, and you're like, oh, okay, I did not expect this. And then
Yeah.
obviously like the impact sound,
Yeah, the sound
you know,
effect,
whatever.
the sound quality in Fire Force is just
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah. No, the sound effects are so great.
yeah,
It's been a lot warmer since the last time, but still cold.
yeah.
Zeebs.
Well, that's good. It's warmer than the last
Zeebs. That's cute.
time. Zeebs and Tish.
Oh.
Zeebs and Tish. Look at the girls girling. So shall
Tish
we?
is here for the concert, right?
Yeah. I think it was on Wednesday.
Oh, the concert already happened? Oh, that's awesome. I hope you had a great time.
Cool. Yeah, I hope you had fun.
Yeah,
If you
so
want to
cool.
share about it, feel free to share about it.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I would love to go and hear how the concert was. I know you're excited to go and see Evanescence, but Evanescence was it was a Halsey concert, but you went to go see
But Evanescence was opening.
opening.
So of course you got to see Evanescence.
That's super cool though. So I hope that the concert was an amazing experience. What was the last concert you guys went to?
Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You're right. I don't know why I was thinking
We
of
all
more.
went to it. Yeah.
I don't know why I was thinking of more of like. Yeah, you're right. With like the artists or whatever and stuff, like specific artists.
Actually, like the most recent one was a talent show. Actually.
Yeah, get out of here. Yeah. Tish says it was last night. I cried so much. They opened and I called my mom. That's so cool. That's such a special moment.
cool.
I love that. I'm glad.
Watching it.
I'm glad. There's nothing like going to like something like for example like a concert and having such an incredible experience that it becomes like such like a lasting memory thing. And the fact that you called your mom like it was that special, like that's so cool.
To be like, oh my God, listen to this.
Yeah. Paramore and Earth, Wind and Fire. Yeah.
Yeah, when is that collab happening?
I need that.
Yeah. But Earth, Wind and Fire. Yeah, we went to go see me and Zebra Cakes saw Earth, Wind and Fire. And
So that's your answer for your last concert. Got it. Zebra Cakes.
yeah, that was the last one prior to the Attack on Titan, the orchestra, the official concert.
I was supposed to go see Donald Glover.
Donald Glover, yeah. Earth, Wind
Oh,
and Fire.
Luca's seeing Tyler the Creator, and I'm
Tyler, the Creator.
I'm so jealous. I'm so
so
jealous.
cool.
That's Luca's probably like all-time favorite artist right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he changing his aesthetic at all or no?
No.
Really?
I mean, he's wearing his uniform, so I don't know.
Okay.
But no, not
I saw
really.
something where it was
I mean, you
like-
guys can check out his vlog on YouTube at the Mamones if you want to.
go.
Mamones if you want to on YouTube. He has a little Japanese
Is there a
vlog in Japan.
The Mamones?
Yeah, the Mamones, because it's him and his cousins just like put YouTube videos up there
That's it.
of their trips and stuff. So Luca did a little vlog.
The Igor outfit was better.
But yeah, I'm very jealous.
That's such a straight.
I'm very jealous that he's going to be seeing Tyler the Creator. I was like, who are you going with? He's like, some of my teammates.
Where
yeah, we're
is he
going and
seeing him?
da-da-da. It's in
Where did he perform? He was out in the Philippines.
I don't remember. Lexi.
Say, was it?
Was it in the Philippines or Japan?
No, I want to say he's literally. I don't remember actually. Hold on. I'm mixing things up. I'm mixing
Let's
up
summon
things.
him.
Hold on. I'm mixing up all of his
The
events.
timelines are blending.
They are.
Oh man.
He's probably.
I tried to summon him. Oh, well, never mind. Summoning won't work then. He's a practice.
Practice right now. Summoning. I said, when and where are you seeing Tyler again? He's gonna be like, what?
Every
The
time
creator?
I hear summoning, I think of, I know you haven't seen it. Have you seen the meme where it's the guys in the cloaks being like, "Shabba-da-doo-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-ba"? No, I'm gonna sound crazy.
I don't think so.
Crazy. No.
Seriously, I love
Okay.
Mysterious Luca. Like, he literally vlogs. How?
Yeah. No, literally. When I showed mom and dad, they were like, this is the most I've ever heard him talk.
Yeah. She says not the wizards.
Yeah, not the wizards. Sorry.
I hope everyone's week's going well so far. Glad to be here.
Hi, Eddie.
Fish. Oh, is that Eddie?
Yeah.
I was
What's
saying
up,
Fish
Eddie?
because
They're both blue.
yeah, they have the same
Yeah. What's up,
color.
Eddie?
But yeah, what's up,
Our
Eddie?
week has been going well.
I'm like,
Mr.
Eddie, what was the
Houston.
last concert you
I
went
know.
to?
What's the last concert you went to, man?
Because I clearly forgot.
Yeah.
Because I just want to meet people for a living.
Perhaps it was something about Attack on Titan.
Yeah. But yeah,
Right.
Eddie,
Well,
appreciate you stopping in, man.
Heartbreak.
Oh, you wait for a response from suspicious Luca.
Yeah.
Eddie, let's rock, paper, scissors for the blue. For the blue. Okay, ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Imagine it.
And they type at the same time. Ding-ding. It's a
That'd be cool.
fist emoji with a peace sign emoji.
Yeah.
I choose infinity.
choose
I win.
infinity.
Okay, well, Tish won. Okay, AJ, shall we share about our Mother's Day?
Yeah, Mother's Day was awesome. Yeah, just
Yeah, how was
something
your
just
week?
nice. Yeah, the week was just kind of just usual kind of work week for me, and Mother's Day was a really nice highlight. I know that Zebra Cake's been really busy with work as well. She mentioned early on. Also, she's trying to make time to go ahead and work in the studio as well. Mm-hmm. And but as far as Mother's Day, yeah, we just had
It
it
was so
over
nice.
at Mom and Dad's place, and it was nice. Just did some grilling. Grilled some short
AJ
ribs.
grilled up some short
chicken.
ribs and chicken, and it was freaking good. Chicken was marinated.
Yeah,
Mom made chili
Yeah,
beans
so it was nice.
and refried beans
Grill master
and
AJ.
rice.
Grill master,
AJ's
yeah.
good at that.
Yeah, I have my moments where what it is that if I
AJ's
know.
good at like seasoning meat.
So what my dad did was he went ahead and gave me a week's notice, right? So I think kind of like knowing me and how I am, like I try to go ahead and prepare and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So like what I did during the week was I looked
I'm
to
gonna
see
be
the
ready.
best way how to go ahead and grill, how long to go ahead and really keep the stuff on the grill for. Excuse me. And so I just try to go ahead and be as like prepared as I possibly can, and so going to the grill. One thing that Dad does, and I understand why he does it, is to go ahead and keep his grill clean. But when he puts aluminum on the grill, it can make it more of a difficult experience because one, the aluminum will go ahead and stick to all the different stuff
Yeah.
on the grill. It's just I feel like there's something about having it on the grill and then just letting it go ahead and grill and stuff and keep it on there for a while and stuff, and not having that fuss of like trying to go ahead and flip or whatever and
Letting
then
it
just
stick to the
gets there.
aluminum. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
One
but
thing I've done
we
for aluminum
worked through it.
on the grill is if you just fold it up on the sides and you throw like a good amount of butter there, you can just let the butter kind of cook it too for you. You can just flip it over with the butter.
Yeah, the trick too is literally just leaving it and letting it cook, because if you go ahead and you try to flip too early, then it'll get stuck. But then what happened later on is that as the juices right from the chicken would go ahead and start to kind of fill that aluminum, then it becomes easier to go ahead
Yeah.
and flip.
Yeah.
You just gotta let it kind of just cook for a while. And of course, chicken. I mean, you're gonna have to let it.
Grilling chicken
You're gonna
is,
have to let it grill for a while.
honestly, I think that's brave.
And stuff,
I couldn't do it because I would constantly be like, it's raw.
Yeah, so you just got to know when to keep it on there and stuff. The short ribs were quick and easy. I mean,
Yeah.
put them on the
Oh,
grill,
short ribs are so
let them do their
fire.
thing. And then Mom and Dad, they had some like chili beans.
Yeah, Mom made rice and refried
there was
beans.
rice and
Ronnie made cookies.
exactly.
And brought cookies over.
Yeah. Yeah,
So those
zebra
were good.
cakes.
That
She
sounds
baked some
fire.
cookies, and the cookies had Reese's Pieces in
Oh.
them. And she also used some of the peanut butter cups as well.
That sounds so good.
And
the cookies
were
looked
they were
so-
chunky, man.
Yeah.
Oh my
they
gosh.
Were big they look like crumble cookies except softer and like they just
Made
look
with
like
love.
And because it was really hot that day and you like drove over, Ronnie was like, I feel like they rebaked in the sun, like when they were in the car.
Yeah.
So they were like already
Oh, that's so sick.
nice and gooey.
Yeah.
And it was really good. We played games and I
stomach just
dominated.
growled.
I dominated in
Yeah,
all
you
the
did. We
Jackbox
played some games and stuff. It's always fun to go ahead and play the Jackbox
I'm just
games.
too competitive, sorry.
But yeah, so it was just really nice again.
And our
to
sister
get,
and her boyfriend
to get
came
our
over
sister and
too.
boyfriend together and stuff. 'Cause
Everyone was together.
I
It was
feel like we
fun.
haven't seen them since the holidays, really, and so it was just nice. It was a nice time.
I had a lot of fun.
And then it was just one of those moments where you just kind of like need it at the end of the week, and I'm glad that mom had a great time as well and stuff.
Yeah.
She texted afterwards too, and yeah, and
She seemed to have had a great Mother's
mom's
Day. I'm
birthday
glad-
at the end of the month.
That's good.
Yeah,
Had to go on a little trip.
I know.
Palm Springs, gonna be fun.
May is for mom.
Yeah, so it's gonna be cool.
I know. I'm excited for mom's birthday too.
Yeah, for sure.
I got to think of what other gift to get her now.
Yeah.
Because I made her a lantern for Mother's Day. I
Okay. Oh,
That's
used
cute.
tea bags and I unfolded them. And then I got flowers from the yard, so homegrown flowers, and pressed them, and then Mod Podged them to it. Put another layer of the tea bag over, and then you glue wooden dowels on the edges, and then you glue all those together. And I got her tea lights. You put a tea light in the middle, and now she has it in the living room.
That's super cool.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't
Cool,
see.
JK. What does that mean?
It was because of Zebra Cakes early on. He goes, yes, love me, hold me.
Yes, let me hold me.
And then he goes, AJ the Grilled? It sounds
Grill Master AJ.
Yeah, it sounds like
Grill
a
Master
feast to
AJ.
me. Yeah, I mean, it was the food was good. And I feel like it's good when there's very minimal leftovers.
Yeah, there really weren't any leftovers. It was
So that's when I was
barely
like,
any.
Okay, cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It was good.
I applaud you. I wish I could have been there to savor that meat.
Yeah, it was cool.
Oh, and
fun.
for the morning, Dad made us French toast.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
Mom loves the French
Always
toast.
does French toast in the morning for Mother's Day for Mom. She loves that French toast.
Early on chat, I think, what did Zebra Cake say about TJ Maxx about making friends or something like that?
She said
Or
that she makes friends, but they're usually 60 plus, and that grandmas love her there.
yeah,
She makes friends at TJ Maxx all the time.
yeah. And then Jacob goes, people my age for me and people that are older. Yeah.
What's your beef with the younger generation? I mean, I know what the beef is. We all have.
I mean, I get it though. I get it.
Yeah. Again,
They're weird
the
kids,
week
man.
the week was cool. Getting busy at work for sure, which is good. And yeah, Mother's Day was nice. So yeah, beautiful. I think that at this time now we can go ahead and start covering the Q&As, right?
Awesome.
Yeah, we have 2 Q&As. We have one that we did live last week, and we got some responses, and the responses were cool. I think one of them was could be wrong. Did somebody say flock? Did somebody say flock for
think-
Pedro?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's probably Jacob.
I can't remember who it was.
No, I think it was Bobby.
or something.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or was it Josh? No. Yeah, it was Josh responded, didn't he? And because weren't we like,
Where is it? Here it is.
I don't know. Either way,
Oh my god, I
Lexi's
forgot
gonna
that
go.
we posted Coda as the photo.
That's right. So either
Yeah,
way,
we did.
Lexi, if you want to go and remind us about last week's as well, and tell us the new ones that we got. If
So
we got
let's
new ones.
review. Last week we asked you guys live, who would you cast Pedro Pascal as in AOT? Like if it were live action. And we posted a beautiful little photo of Coda. And
Who is not Pedro
the
Pascal?
ones that answered were honestly, which is Bobby. Bobby said, honestly, he doesn't look the part, but for some reason, Willie Tiber.
Oh yeah.
Bobby said Willie Tiber. And then Josh said probably Flock.
Oh, Josh was.
Yeah, Josh was the one that said Flock. Jacob also said Flock. And here are the new ones now. We reviewed those last week. The new ones now are from Eddie, who just said no in all caps. He just said no in all caps. I just don't think he wants to see him die.
It's fair.
Yeah, which is fair, Eddie.
This was Eddie,
Yeah.
right? So Eddie actually has a question right in chat. Said if someone likes Pedro Pascal, does that make them a Pedro stan?
Well, there's a difference between liking
yeah.
someone and standing them.
I think that if you're
You know?
just like
like
a
obsession.
if you're a
Yeah.
fan of them, that's fine. You can be a fan of certain.
Standing is like,
actors
I
and
will
stuff.
defend them to the ends of the earth.
Yeah.
Standing is Oh my God, would you know it? The song Stan by Eminem.
Yeah, that's literally where it comes from. Stan. Eddie, would you like to
Source
elaborate
material.
on your answer
Yeah,
of it being
Eddie's, live with us right
N-O-O-O
now.
in all caps?
I'm assuming you just don't want to see him die, which is like we all.
Yeah, which is
like.
pretty good.
And if
pretty
you don't want
valid.
to see
Have a
him
big
die,
old
then that
beef.
means you're going to cast him as a character that
You have to
lives,
cast him
right?
as someone that doesn't
So
die.
Yeah,
Who would you
cast
go
him
ahead
as
and
a
cast
guy.
him as? Jacob goes, I wish I had a stand.
I don't think you want to Stan.
I wish I had a Grunkle Stan.
A Grunkle Stan. And then another one who we did not review that is new is from Kyron.
Okay.
Kyron said Grisha.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Very
Grisha would be a good one.
interesting. I think we discussed that a little bit, having Pedro as Grisha, but
Yeah. It works still, you know?
it still does work.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, been a while since we've heard from you. B-Dog with a Bone.
Okay.
B-Dog with a Bone, hello, says Keith Shadis, maybe.
Oh,
I can see
wow.
that.
The
I can see
Commandant,
that.
huh?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good one.
I say that's probably
But
the
he's
accurate
also
one.
kind of a jerk, but also
In terms of, like visuals.
valid that he's a jerk because he kind of had like everything taken from him.
Ooh,
By
Eddie's got
Grisha
his
Yeager,
response as
who-
Yeah,
well.
by
The son of the
Grisha.
devil.
Yeah.
Or the father
of the devil.
I really like thinking about it. I really like, and we talked about, Dad saying Hannes. I really like Hannes for Pedro. I think
Yeah,
that's
that's
like the
the-
perfect.
yeah.
And that's the Joel pick for
Yeah.
Yeah.
AOT.
Yeah.
That's like pretty.
Eddie goes, I don't want to
Good.
see a bald Pedro. Yeah. And Eddie has a response
Yeah.
as well. What is Eddie's response?
Let's see, Niall maybe, but his accent ain't it. Probably Rod Rice. See?
Rod Rice.
Rice. Damn.
I mean,
but
he
then
could-
that means
he
we're
could
going to
play a villain.
hate Pedro.
Jacob, I think you just need to download Hinge.
Yeah, I think at this point, Jacob, just download something.
There you go.
And then last we have from Laker for Life. Hello, Laker for Life. Says easy. Hannes.
Yeah. Hannes.
Very
100%
good.
Right
I
there.
agree.
We now have a majority vote.
Yeah, there it
I
is.
know.
Looks
Actually,
like,
technically, majority vote is Flock because we have
Pedro.
2 for Flock.
No, I will not allow it.
That's
Pedro, we know you're
No,
a big
vetoed.
fan. Pedro, we know you're a big fan of the official Attack on Titan podcast, and
Yeah,
Just
Pedro,
like
we know
the
that
Dino.
you know
you got
listen
the
to us
job.
every
Just
week.
have your representation reach out to ours, and
Yeah,
we'll
and
get it.
we'll be in
We'll
contact.
figure it out. We understand that you are a busy guy.
We'll make it worth your while. With
Excuse
good
me.
times.
The
good
filming
vibes.
dates and the cast isn't set yet, but we'll let you know. And Jake,
You'll be
I
taken
ain't
care of.
Yeah,
You don't have to pay.
You don't have to, man.
You don't have to pay for Hinge. Okay.
Pay for any
Unless
of
you
them.
Shall
do
we?
now.
Unless you want to win the algorithm, but
Shall we go over the new
Yes,
Q&A?
let's do it.
The painful Q&A?
Yes.
yes, please.
Because this Q&A we're going to talk about for a while. There's a lot of spiraling in this one.
I love
Because
it.
we had a lot of responses, which thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you to all of you who responded.
And can we get a round of applause for the ones that responded to the Pedro one?
Yeah.
Again,
thank
shout
you.
out to you guys. We
All of our
appreciate you guys for sure, and the engagement that we get with the podcast, and
Yeah.
that's why we go ahead and we do this live, because we want to go ahead and continue to just link up with all you guys and stuff. And
Yeah.
it's fun.
Thank you guys for responding in our Q&A and everything. And for this one too, because we got a lot. And we got a lot of really good answers.
Let's do it. I'm excited. I didn't know we had a lot of responses.
No, we did. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Beautiful. Let's talk about it.
Nine.
Awesome.
Wow.
yeah.
Thank you. Oh my gosh.
That's
Okay, so
awesome.
first, the question.
Everybody loves Sasha. Okay.
I know. And this is a loaded
algorithm
question too. I didn't
Yeah.
know how many answers we're going to get because this is a loaded question. The
Yeah.
question is, if Sasha never died, how would the overall story have changed?
Ooh, that is
Which
a
is a
very
loaded
loaded question.
We're going to be here for another
This is up to your own imagination.
I know.
I
This-
love questions
we
like
could
this.
discuss this Q&A for the whole episode.
Yeah.
Honestly, but we gotta just take your guys' response and spiral with those because that's
Yeah.
gonna be so much fun. First, we have
yeah.
Josh.
Okay.
Josh said,
Good.
I think it would have been a bit more lighthearted. Her dying ended all the goodness that the story had left.
Oh, that's. You know what's funny is that
True. The moment
To
that she
Josh's
dies,
point,
the tone does change.
the tone has changed for sure. Like when you watch season 4, right? When you watch season 4 and you see how things, we're essentially we immediately start with the war, right?
Yeah.
And then the
it
tone
opens
pretty
up
much
in
stays.
the war zone.
It stays very status quo. We don't get any like lightheartedness like Josh is referring to. And then I feel like we definitely did lose characters that have that comedic factor to it, and we see even in a way too, like
That bring
like,
optimism to
we
like.
talked about how
those
like
scenes.
Historia was nerfed as a character. Like Connie's like his kind of like that he lost his taekwondo, and so in a way it kind of nerfed his kind of like
his whole demeanor. The remainder of the series is melancholic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is honestly very, very obvious, and I feel like it's because I think that when he would goof off before, he's like, oh, it's fine. Like, I'm going to do it with Sasha. Sasha's always got my back. Let's goof off together. Whatever. She's always with me. But now he's probably like, I have no reason to goof off
It's a piece
anymore.
of him is just like literally, yeah. Died.
They were literally the taekwondo.
They were the closest thing to siblings in that entire show.
I know.
Yeah, for
Than
sure.
any of the real siblings in this show.
Yeah. So, I mean, Josh has a great point, and I think
mention Colton Falco.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, honorable mention. Yeah, I guess you guys are siblings.
But yeah,
at least cared about
100%
his
appreciate
brother.
that, Josh. And yeah, we definitely did. I think that we would have gotten more lightheartedness for sure.
Yeah, I agree with
Yeah.
that, Josh. For sure.
And also, too, I want to say that if Gabi never killed Sasha and Gabi was still somehow in the Browse kind of family,
Kill Flock instead.
right.
I feel
If
like
they happened to have killed
Sasha,
Flock, like
she
you
would have
voted for?
become such a great mentor.
Yeah.
to Gabi, you know?
would have.
She definitely would have hit that shot on air.
Eddie says Connie said that Sasha was his twin. Yeah, and that just goes to show again just the impact and how lasting that unfortunate death was to Connie, and why his whole demeanor was as Zach described, melancholic throughout the rest of the season. But yeah. I like it.
Yeah,
I like
thank
the
you.
lightheartedness.
I agree.
So it sucks that Sasha was.
Connie said
gone.
that Sasha was his twin. Yeah. I agree, Eddie. Thank you for that, Josh.
Yes, thank
you. You broke my heart. Thanks. Next, we have Tish.
All right. What does
Tish,
Tish
if you're
say?
still here, we're going to need you to expand on this, maybe. Tish said, we would have lost a big emotional catalyst for some complex arcs like Gabi's and Falco's and even Aaron's arc, which is still very valid. Tish, you're right. There's some very complex
100%.
emotional, like you said, a big emotional catalyst for some complex arcs. I agree.
I think too is like
It's like when Marco died.
Yeah,
he needed to die for Jean to get that point.
Yeah, that's so. To Tish's point, that same point, like we see certain things that develop because of it, like almost like the reaction that Connie has to seeing Aaron kind of like laughing, or whatever, and
Right.
however he dealt with that whole situation. Of course, we're going to talk about it and cover it, but there is also that little bit of animosity and stuff later on when they go back home, right? And then so there are like lingering things too that because of a character's death, they're so lasting, like we talked about with Connie's character, that it's hard to think about how it really would have changed and how characters' arcs would have been so different. Like how Connie, again, just focusing on Connie, because as Eddie even mentioned, like that was, as Connie referred to as his twin, how would have his story, like to think how it would have played out and changed. And even just with Jean, and then just we do get a focus with like obviously being introduced to Niccolo, how that whole thing would have changed, and how Niccolo's
I was
character
thinking
would
about
have
him earlier, like who broke the news to him.
Yeah, and also too, like with we do get a focus as well because of Gabi, right? We get a focus on Sasha's family, right? So like to think of how that all would have tied in, it's. Of course, we can spiral on that. We can come up with our own storylines, but like Tish is mentioning that, unfortunately, her character and a character as pivotal and impactful as hers, right? She's a glue character. However you want to go ahead and describe it, she's a glue character. And so when you go ahead and you remove that glue character from the storyline, now it's like other characters have to really figure out, and other things have to happen. And like you literally said, Lex, Marco's a character we would have loved to have survived, but that would have changed Jean's his story.
Of his character.
That would have changed, Connie, because Connie was on the fence while it's becoming a scout. Like things would have changed for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, great point, Tish. Thank you.
Yeah, very good point. Oh my god, I just lost it.
That was
'cause I
awesome.
locked my phone.
Yeah.
Hold on.
There are those glue characters,
Okay.
Yeah.
And like at that time, Marco, I want to say, like
was.
I can be wrong, but Marco was a glue
I
character
agree.
because we even saw in moments when like Jean and Aaron had their little indifferences, had their little kind of goofy little rivalry. Marco would go ahead and kind of be the mediator a little bit,
Yeah.
So I mean, again, if Marco was alive, again, I feel like Marco was on that track to have been some sort of, leading presence as well. You know?
100%. It's like Jean picked up the mantle for him.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so unfortunately we don't want Sasha to die, but I do agree with your answer, Tish.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good push for a lot of character arcs.
Yeah, Gabi
agree.
wouldn't have learned her lesson.
Exactly, yeah. Gabi.
She had to physically see the damage she had done to a family because of
That's
her
right.
desire for vengeance.
That's a
Exactly.
great point too as well.
Yeah, excellent point, Zach.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Tish.
Yeah.
Next we have Jacob.
Yeah.
Jacob says the Jaegerists killing Gabi. I think he just wants Gabi killed by the Jaegerists.
Well,
Which I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that.
I would too.
we really don't know how the story would have played out. I mean, the thing is that like Gabi did become this prisoner, sort of speaks. We're gonna go ahead and talk about it kind of over in this, this episode and focus over on what they end up doing with the two kids. But I mean, we don't know what they would have done to Gabi. If let's say she didn't kill anybody, let's say she was just like a blind shot, or she shot like unfortunately like a lesser known character.
Yeah.
Off the ship.
Yeah.
And just been like, kick her out. Why would you get her?
I know.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know. I
Would
mean,
have realized she had to kill Labov.
yeah, exactly. And I don't think that the Jaegerists would have killed Gabi. Because I think that Gabi is just like, she's not really that much of a focus, at least to their eyes. Obviously she is in the story, but I think her being a child, they really do kind of like look past her. But yeah, I mean, I think we all would have.
That already makes the Island of Parody more human than Marley.
Yeah, but I think we all would have appreciated Gabi.
Yeah, I'd be
being
cool
gone
with it.
instead.
Here, fucking get pushed off the ship and plummet, and then
It is
Falco
what it
being
is.
like,
Oh, we have an answer from Luca for
All
when
right.
he's seeing Tyler the Creator.
Okay.
"Ooh,
He's seeing Tyler in September in the Philippines.
Wow,
Oh,
Tyler's in the
that's it.
Philippines.
hey, if it's in the 20s."
So, babe, when are we? So, when is September? When should I? You got my ticket, right? When am I?
Hey,
No,
September's a good
Luca,
month, right?
No, Luca, forget her. Invite me out for
I
my
had to
birthday.
say, September's a good month.
I know September's.
Just bring me and AJ out.
It's two people's birthdays too in September, babe. That's crazy. And they would probably. I mean, you like Tyler.
Yeah. Eddie also, I think, elaborates over on maybe Tish's response, or maybe he just kind of has his own response. I don't know if Eddie has a response.
Yeah, Eddie said. Well, Eddie just has a comment saying, "Thankfully, all these characters have their own original name, and there isn't any chance that they have the same name as others or similar sounding names like other anime SMH." I think it's because this one is more. This anime is focused on more like global stuff, not just in Japan. So they don't all have Japanese names. A lot of them have English names.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it's more different. Like we have like the closest ones are like Udo and Otoo, Falco Flock, the Ymirs, and like that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Marlo and Marco.
Even
Those are
like
close.
Aaron's a
think about
common
it,
name, but it's
the
spelled
story-
differently.
But still
even-
spelled different.
Even the story itself is at a global scale.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing with One Piece. It's a whole world of different cultures and
Yeah.
languages.
Yeah.
Like most
And the
animes
names and
just
the cultures reflect that.
yeah, and most animes just take place in Japan and stay in Japan. So it's like, of course, they're only gonna.
So
have
to us, a lot of the
names.
Japanese names are just going to sound very similar.
Yeah.
I agree with that, Eddie. I am thankful that they all have their own names. Yeah, it's just a
Yeah.
comment, not a response.
Okay.
Yeah. But thank you for that, Jacob.
Yeah,
I
thank
wouldn't
you,
mind the Jaegerist killing Gabi, actually.
That'd be
Yeah.
be peak.
But she's got to learn her lesson or whatever. And
I just want to see her get her
Whatever.
shit kicked in.
so next, we have 2 responses from Eddie.
Okay.
Okay.
Right on.
Ready for this, Eddie? Eddie says the story wouldn't have been so depressing, and Aaron would have flipped out, and maybe some elements would have been different. Do tell, Eddie, what elements do you think would have been different? Let's talk about it.
Eddie, if you think that anything specifically would have kind of changed with Sasha surviving, but I do like what you said early on about how
It seems like he agrees with Josh.
Depressing.
Yeah.
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 Because like we
same.
said, Sasha is a
lighter
character that
tone.
brings a lot of optimism to scenes and situations.
Yeah, but she's also, we talked about like she is so aware of surroundings that she is able to go ahead and kind of alert others about certain
Yeah.
things. So maybe
Yeah,
other
so maybe
characters would have
less-
been more, I mean, not to say that she would have known, but like again with the wine, would she have known about the wine? Like
I don't know.
I don't know how good her instincts or like her. I'm not gonna say she's full on Miike with the scent and
I
smell.
was gonna
and
say, if
stuff,
we had Miike, he'd be like, don't drink that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's like
Smells funny.
Yeah.
Smells spiny.
You know.
we don't know if anything would
Smelly
have changed
smell,
too,
that
as far as
smells
them
smelly.
being more prepared on with certain situations and stuff. Who knows?
That's true. They wouldn't have had the drop on them as often, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, they shouldn't have had the drop on them in that freaking blimp, but
They found a way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Eddie, if you want to elaborate a little bit more at any point, of course, feel free to. But yeah, I think that that the story itself, I feel like what we just talked about it. Like if you really do like focus on and think about ways, we can go ahead and come up with some potential like storylines and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, the big storyline would be again just to see how the relationship of Sasha and Nicola
Lex
were
with
to
the
go ahead
goated SpongeBob quotes. Lex, you're the goat.
to grow and stuff.
Thank you.
And all that,
Thank you, Jacob.
Right. And like I said, I think that Sasha could ultimately become like a some sort of like role model figure to Gabi, and to see if like later on like if maybe Sasha's family would have adopted Gabi, and all of a sudden Sasha becomes this older sister to Gabi, and kind of like weird fate thing. And
yeah.
I mean,
and you also have Nicola being like, "Hey, if I can turn, you can turn. Like,
Yeah.
we don't have to be negative and hateful all the time."
yeah,
Yeah. True that.
Eddie responded. He said, "Well, I think about it, and considering the turn the story took overall, we would have maybe seen a different type of Sasha, maybe more cold and serious.
that's an interesting take.
I would feel like that would be the case if it were like swapping her out for Jean or Connie.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that you're
If someone
great
else
point.
had died.
If somebody else
Yeah.
would have died, let's say
That's a whole
Someone
nother
else of
thing.
substance.
let's say one of the twins had to go, and let's say Connie went, then
What
to Eddie's
Jacob
point,
wanted the whole time.
yeah, he tried to go and lead that revolution. But if it was Connie, then yes, Eddie, you are 100% correct, and that Sasha would have been a complete different version of herself. And I think that we would have gotten the same kind of melancholic version that Connie ended up ultimately become.
Yeah.
And
well, it's because even when they're like, feel like a major plot point where you would have seen Sasha. Actually, were you done with your point? Am I interrupting?
you can go ahead and continue, because I did have something else, but I can go ahead and mention it too after.
I feel like a major plot point that if Sasha were to survive, so like you said, Eddie, we would see a different type of Sasha, would be when they're basically in jail and they're finding out like that Aaron is like, that they need to protect him while also acting against his will, and that's a whole thing where Armin's like, we have to figure out a way, we can't I feel like Sasha, I feel like for Sasha, it would have been a bit easier for her because she has that hunter's instinct, just to be like, okay, we have to turn on Aaron. We have to turn on him. Like, I feel like it would have been easier for her.
Yeah.
I mean, we know it was easier for Connie because he's like, I don't know who that guy is out there.
Yeah, he's like, that's not the same dude I knew before.
Yeah, Connie's like, I don't know who the hell that Aaron is.
Yeah.
And Sasha would have been like the same way. She's like, yeah, we got to kill him.
Now the other thing I was just going to mention about, if Connie were to go ahead and die instead of Sasha, I don't think Sasha would have been okay with her family taking in Gabi.
No, that's a whole nother thing.
So that's how I think the story would have also, Yeah, and Eddie goes, if Connie passed, he wouldn't see his mom again. Yeah, that's also another sad,
Oh my God,
sad
yeah.
story as well.
And we wouldn't have had that cool scene of Jean and Connie at the end when they turn into their cool looking, well, Connie's the only Titan that looked cool.
Jay goes, I'd 1v everyone with Flock.
That's not
I
a
think-
1v then. You have Flock with
I
you.
know.
That's a
I
2v.
feel like, could you even trust Flock? I don't know.
And maybe
I
Jacob
couldn't.
would. They'd probably see eye to eye and they'd be like, oh yeah. That's their Taekwondo duo.
Like, that's
Jacob
why I
and
don't-
There you
Flock.
go. That's their
Yeah.
Taekwondo.
Jacob and Flock have their own
That's
Taekwondo
the Jaegers Taekwondo duo.
There you
Yeah.
go.
for the Jaegers. But thank you for
Yeah,
that.
Eddie, appreciate it. And thank
Eddie.
you for elaborating,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
appreciate that.
again, more credit to you guys. This was not an easy Q&A we gave you.
No,
This is a
it's not.
hard Q&A. And thank you to all of you who answered.
Yeah, thank you.
Next we have from, I don't think we've heard from this user yet.
Okay.
Tryon Loves Queen is what it says.
Okay.
User Tryon Loves Queen says that Sasha would have ate Aaron. Like, because she was hungry
Yeah,
or because she's
there
a
you
Titan? Because that could go one of two ways.
Yeah, it's true.
That could definitely go one
I mean,
of two ways.
there are ways that people turn into Titans, of course, in season 4. Maybe Sasha drinks the wine.
That's true.
Her and Connie switch places in that last scene. Maybe she just
or in the last scene, or
maybe she just stomps on Rhina's face and takes that last.
Yeah, maybe she's like, all right, whatever.
That would have been cool though, to see that scene at the end, kind of like a final little embrace and goodbye if it was Connie and Sasha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
little taekwondo.
Yeah, because then they're like, wow.
Imagine they're like, here's the final moment. You ready? And just both like,
yeah. And they're like, we're going to be so cool for this. We're going to be cool, guys.
They're gonna write about this in the history books.
Yeah. Because I feel like, Jean and Connie's was really bittersweet, but I feel like if it was Sasha and Connie at the end, they'd be like, we have to somehow be funny with this.
yeah.
Somehow
Like,
we have to go out.
do Jean right.
Yeah.
Hit your hardest pose.
Yeah.
I know. Whoever's pose is funniest wins. Go.
Whichever one makes Jean laugh in the afterlife wins.
I know.
Yeah, he goes, imagine if Sasha joined the Jaegerists for real. And then
No, I don't think she would.
Fuck yes. Welcome aboard,
No,
Sasha.
you just said Jacob's
She'd
like,
much rather go
favorite sentence.
live in the woods for the rest of her life. I think.
I think so.
What if that's something that she ultimately does, where let's say, sometimes characters, when they lose somebody they care about, they decide to go ahead and just like...
They just pull a
It's
180.
not for them anymore. And then she ends up, no longer fighting along the same side of her allies. Who knows?
I mean, I don't. We don't really know. That's unfortunate.
Connie
part
was
of
going
it.
to do
We don't
something
know
crazy
how-
too. He was going to go ahead and literally, just kill a child so that his mom can come back. And he went
Yeah.
rogue,
Yeah, he was like, whatever. I'm going to throw her.
Yeah.
Well, she also had killed his twin, so
Yeah.
kind of valid.
Justified.
Yeah, I'm okay
But-
with that.
Not right.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Try
Thank
and
you
love
for that,
queen.
Loves Queen.
I hope that you join in for more.
Yeah.
Next, we have from a friend of the show, Kirkland Allen.
Hey.
Hello, Kirk.
Kirkland.
What's up, Kirkland?
What's up?
Kirkland Allen says, overall, less heartbreak.
Yeah. Agreed.
Agreed. He said, also, we would have no more need for dumb, stupid Gabi to be our sharpshooter. We would have no need for her to be our sharpshooter.
Yeah.
So, I guess so. Yeah, so that really does affect a major part of the story then when she is the shooter to get Eren Yeager.
It's kind of like that same foreshadowing moment when, obviously Gabi sees these, guards being gunned down, these, soldiers being gunned down, and the sharpshooter on the roof is this woman.
is Sasha.
So, like, obviously we talked about that foreshadowing, right? But yeah, I mean, if Sasha ultimately does survive and she is continuing on, her story, then yeah, she is the sharpshooter.
Yeah, then she's a sharpshooter.
We don't know if Gabi's able to go ahead and do the things that she's able to do in the story if there's another sharpshooter on the freaking battlefield,
Yeah.
Like, you don't
'Cause
know.
also-
opposing her.
Yeah.
If we're talking about the sharpshooter moment where Gabi decapitates Eren, spoiler, you guys know.
You get
Would Sasha do that? Would Sasha point a gun at Eren and be like, yeah, I got it. This is my only chance. I got to do it.
I feel like
I feel like at the
way-
point where they get to it, I feel like she'd be like, yeah, I just want things to go back the way they were.
I feel
Yeah.
like, she would be willing to do it. I just don't think that she would have the opportunity to do it. And I feel like ultimately it had to be Mikasa.
I mean, like when
Talking about before rumbling.
I'm
like the
talking about
rumbling
before
caused.
pre-rumbling, right before the rumbling starts,
Oh,
and
you're talking
Eren
about as he's
Eren
running
is
over
running
Zeke.
towards Zeke, yeah, and then
No,
Gabi
at that
shoots.
time they were on the side of Eren. Remember, they thought that Eren had to go ahead and
Yeah.
Oh,
follow through with
right.
the plan.
They thought
That
they,
they
were
had
really
to
using
be.
At that
At
moment, I don't know if you remember, but like Mikasa and Armin
They
are
thought
trying to
that they
hold
were-
off Pete.
You're right.
And
Oh
then-
my god. So then
it's not
that's
like
a
they
whole
were
nother
against
thing
Eren at the time.
that
They
would've
were on Eren's team, on his
Yeah.
side, and yeah, they were reluctant to do it. But
Of
they
course.
ultimately, as they are entering the battlefield, they're kind of like, hey, we still need to do this, whatever and stuff, right? And so yeah, Sasha
I feel like Sasha
wouldn't have
would
done that.
Yeah, Sasha would be
know?
with Connie in terms of like I don't know who that is, but I guess.
I feel like Sasha probably would have had a really cool moment too. Like I think that she's the one who gunned down that freaking the cockpit cart Titan soldier, right?
Yeah. Sasha's the one that shot the.
Yeah, the guy freaking
Titan.
square over in the forehead and stuff.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then the blood
Like, I feel
splattered
like-
on their picture with.
Yeah, on their
Sheep.
picture of Peak.
Like she could have done the same thing, to the other,
Yeah. Very
ones
easy.
out over there, and when they were trying to stop Eren in that moment,
Yeah.
like no, like she would have been protecting Eren.
Yeah.
You know, so that's
True.
another you know, ally to Eren's advantage, having a sharpshooter.
It wouldn't have been that opening.
Yeah.
That's true. The
You know?
overall story would be really different.
Yeah. So again, like what Kirkland
There would
Allen's
have to be a
saying,
new catalyst.
That's true.
to
Eren did
rumbling.
really play them, Eddie. That's true.
I mean, who knows? I mean, that's the thing is that, like, you know,
But it was for their own benefit.
Gabi has the shot, but who's to say that Sasha's not the one who's like scoping out and
Oh my God,
following
yeah,
Eren's
she
every
takes the
move
shot.
and make sure, like, what if Gabi is trying to go ahead and shoot, and instead of killing her, Sasha goes out there and shoots Gabi's hand or something, you know?
Like shoots the gun out from her.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. There's the way that the story could potentially go.
It's a whole new element
exactly.
of a skilled
There's a whole
sharpshooter.
different, you know, variety of realities, you know?
Dang, Kirkland.
If Sasha's there, does it really matter when the Eren's end goal is to get to Zeke anyways?
Say that again when it comes to
At the end of the day, when Eren's trying to get to Zeke and
Yeah.
Sasha's there, does it really matter?
no.
No.
If even if she
But
protects
the elements
him,
Yeah.
of like who
Well-
gets injured, who dies,
Yeah.
who goes where.
Well, that's the thing too. What
the
Eddie says.
More
butterfly
planned.
Like
could
Eddie
be.
says,
Yeah.
Eren really played them. Like they're allies,
Yeah.
right? That are trying to protect Eren. Like Eren is using all that to his advantage, right? Using their loyalty to his advantage.
I'm like a resource.
And then, you know, ultimately, once Eren does reach that moment where he's beginning to, like, really, it's like the first big step, right, to getting what he wants.
Yeah.
That is like the catalyst right there.
Yeah.
That moment where there is that, like, that touch, that embrace, that moment
Yeah.
where things become real now
Yeah.
in the storyline, right? From at that point, everything is like, as far as Eren goes,
Eren's
there's
gonna
no
get
other-
everything
there's no other
he
meaning.
wants from this point
yeah,
forward.
there's no other meaning
Yeah,
other
for
than what
Eren, I
Eren
think no matter
now
what,
is
he's
trying
still
to
going to
achieve.
get to his agenda.
Yeah.
He's still going to do what he has to do. But it's for the benefit of his friends looking like heroes, you know? So Sasha gets to, I mean, who knows what Sasha would have ended up looking like, you know? Connie grew out some hair and Rhina grew out some hair and
We're talking about over at the end.
yeah, at the very end,
Yeah, at the very
when
end.
they're all heroes and there's no
Yeah.
longer the curse of Ymir,
Yeah.
and they can live long, happy lives.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I think that she would be very, very happy, and you know what?
Hungry.
She'd
She'd be happy and hungry.
Well, she'd be
be
hungry,
well-fed.
but
Yeah.
she'd be well fed because of who I think her love interest would have been, and would have been Niccolo.
Niccolo, yeah, she would have
Connie
had a
would have
good
been
life.
Funkle Connie.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. And
Sasha would become a goth baddie? I don't think so.
I think you would
But I hope
want
so.
that.
Sasha's the ultimate country tom girl.
Yeah.
Like,
You know how the AOT multiverse is real? Imagine she just gets replaced by another Sasha from an alternate universe. Yeah, that's true. It is confirmed that the AOT multiverse is real because of the new movie they put out where they literally had a whole nother universe.
It's just
yeah.
the person that seems to be
It
in
was us,
charge of
guys.
it.
That's us.
Literally us.
We're a multiverse.
It just seems like the person who
Our
seems to
theories were a
be
catalyst.
in charge of that multiverse will not allow anybody to enter into.
No.
You know,
You're like, no, not the main story.
whatever the
Not
main
allowed.
universe is.
Yeah, not the main vein.
Yeah.
Or like leave the source material
Yeah.
alone.
This is canon. You don't belong in the canon.
Exactly.
You've seen Into the Spider-Verse. You know what happens when we fuck with the canon.
I know.
Yeah.
But hey, Kirkland, glad to have you
Yeah,
back, man.
yeah.
Missed you.
I mean, it's not like
My
you ever
favorite
left.
Costco
but
branded Allen.
It was nice
There you
hearing
go.
from you.
Yeah. Shout out to Kirkland Allen.
We have 2 more responses.
Okay, perfect.
One of them is from another friend, Film 24 FPS.
Okay,
We have heard
remember Film.
from this person before. Hi,
Yeah.
Film. Film says Eren's fears of knowing the future might not have been confirmed and possibly stopping the rumbling. So I guess it could be if Eren's fears of knowing the future might not have been confirmed, possibly stopping the rumbling. So if Sasha didn't die, Film, are you saying this in a way of like, he's going to be like, oh crap, Sasha's supposed to die. Why isn't she dead? Okay,
that's-
well, all this is
That is such an interesting way of thinking
like
about
how
it.
Eren would react.
Yeah, like
Breaks
if
the
film-
simulation. He goes, time to start again.
And
Yeah.
he's like, okay, well, I guess we have to restart, or okay, I guess there's no
See-
point in me rumbling this one.
That's a what if episode right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, that really can affect the
That would
actual
be-
canon.
Yeah.
Like how it affects the canon is
When he knows something is supposed to happen and all of a
Yeah.
sudden it doesn't happen, right? Let's say, you know, what we're going to cover today in this episode and all of a sudden the doors open and, you know, the news that they're given isn't the news that Eren is expecting.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden Eren's
It's just
probably
like
going to be like,
Gabi's on
wait,
board and
wait, what?
and
You know?
pulled a trigger, but she missed the bullet or she missed a shot
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
ended up
Exactly.
just shooting a
All
wing.
of a sudden, you see another branch form in the paths.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Fuck, I have to do that all over again."
Another one.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Or unless he would, who's to say that Aaron didn't just see them through? He's like, okay, let's see how it is with Sasha surviving then. Let's see how it goes with this one. And then, or maybe he's, like film says, maybe he's like, hey, let's not rumble this one. Then I don't know what to do.
Maybe, like I said earlier, how it doesn't really matter if she's there or not in the end game.
yeah.
Maybe that's why Aaron had a almost visceral reaction. The only emotional reaction we've seen this season so far from him when he finds out about it, which we talk about. But
Yeah.
that's the. I'll talk about that more when we read about it.
It just, I think that like characters that have, well, I don't want to say just characters because that's, again, that's very broad, but in terms of like very specific characters, right? Very important characters, and then them dying, like I've almost just told myself that they had to go for the sake of Aaron's journey and what he's trying to accomplish, right?
Yeah, for his timeline or whatever.
Like characters like Irvin, like characters like even,
Yeah.
like Marlo,
It progressed the story in a way.
Marco,
Their
just,
deaths served purposes.
I feel like their deaths, they serve the purpose of whatever Aaron needed to happen, right? And so with Sasha, with her death, I feel like, and this could be what film was maybe even kind of referencing here too, in terms of like stopping the rumbling, but because this is a very like layered way of thinking about it, and I really like the mindset film.
I did not think about it this way. I didn't think that it would mess with the canon like that, but if it did,
But my point being that if Sasha survived, maybe she was going to do something drastic or even as little as to prevent Aaron from getting what he wants. Because if, to your point, Zach, like if it didn't matter in the overall story, right? Then I think that she could have easily just died like how she did, right? But
Yeah.
I feel like I don't want to put it past Aaron to like to try to keep her alive or whatever, and maybe have another method and stuff, because I wouldn't say that she just doesn't matter because the other characters survived.
yeah.
Right? And so I think that Sasha's impact is probably parallel to whatever Gabi's character development is.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
The way I look at it though is like if I'm Aaron and like I'm not saying like Sasha's not important like she is. I'm just saying like it's pieces on a chessboard. And you can arrange them in a million bajillion different ways.
Yeah.
And I feel like even if like Sasha had lived, like to your point, Gabi can still learn the lesson of not to hate, like, but they can just take her hostage. She ends up meeting Sasha and seeing how Sasha interacts with her family.
Yeah.
And then meeting Nicolo and being like, oh, okay. Like they aren't just like demons, devils, like they're people. Like she can still learn that lesson. I just think it's like, because we don't really see Aaron react to death in season 4 at all.
Except for, when he knows what he's going to do.
Yeah.
When he's
but that's like a guilt thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like, but when he normally like sees it, like just out of his hands, like he doesn't do it or he's not like actively participating in it, he's like cold to it.
He probably has already seen it happen in his mind, in his vision. So he already,
Yeah.
once it happens, it's like he's just
You would
numb.
expect him to be numb to it,
Yeah.
right? But then with Sasha, like we'll talk about, like he has
Yeah.
a reaction to it.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe in this timeline that wasn't in the plan for him anyway. Like he had found that Sasha could stick around and it didn't impede on his plans too much, or he had other ways around it that he was planning on in the future. Maybe it's just like this one was out of well, in the wrong order for him, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I feel like we don't see him react to death normally, just for the remainder of the season.
I feel like with Sasha, her death was so important because of that. I could be wrong with her name, but like the girl that Sasha say, I want to say her name's like Kaya or something like that, or
I know who you're talking about.
yeah,
I can't
but
remember either.
when she tries to go after,
I think it is.
when she tries to go after Gabi, right? And then Gabi then kind of has that moment, that reflection, right? As that, oh my God, like I killed her kind of sister type thing dynamic, but they were so kind to me. And they took me in, and that kind of self-reflection. Yeah, to your point, I feel like she could have gotten that in another way, but I feel like in the story, like that was very important. That was very that was
I
such an
agree with
important
that.
moment.
Yeah.
But
I feel like she also could have I don't know. I feel like with how many, now it's not I made the tree reference, but like there's so many fucking branches on that tree, man. Like if to me with all those options, it feels like this dude's on literal 4D chess, just moving pieces around, playing with time and their deaths and all that.
Yeah.
Just to see which order and sequence gets him the right setup to reach success.
Yeah. Real quick, Jacob does have a question. It appears to be a serious question.
So if Sasha stayed alive, would Aaron get mad at her?
Oh, no, Jacob's question before
Jacob,
that.
sorry, up top.
Yeah.
I was reading the first one. I have a serious question. Are the modern Jaegers like neo-Nazis? Hear me out. They think that capital H man is great, but if they existed back then, would they realize, oh shit, we actually picked the wrong side?
That's a
out of my pay grade.
good question.
That's beyond the description of Twitch's
in terms of history.
description guide.
Yeah.
I want to say that like obviously the Jaegerists and
Modern
everything else.
Jaegers like neo-Nazis.
It's everything else kind of has like some sort of kind of reference, right, into however things are kind of in history or in past history and stuff, and obviously
season
the
4
story
has people wearing armbands if they're not genetically superior and they're only used for their gifts.
But in terms of us trying to answer as far as whether like history has shown that like like Nazis have had some sort of guilt or realization that maybe what they did was wrong, like
side.
it's hard for us to even answer that because one like we just don't know. You'd have to really look into some sort of like history references or some sort of documentaries or some sort of interviews.
There definitely is. I'm not saying Isayama didn't. There's definitely parallels.
Yeah.
Well, you also have to realize too with that nation at the end, it's like a world military. It's not like just parody. Like 80% of the world's been wiped out. This is just the military force of the remaining 20 people just to keep order. It's like a military police in a sense, without it being called the military police anymore.
Yeah, that's true because it's all different now.
Yeah. And then Eddie said, so if Sasha stayed alive, would Aaron get mad at her and ask her the same things he asked Hanji? I feel like
I don't know if Aaron would. Why would Aaron get mad at Sasha?
That would still have to be a Hanji incident.
Yeah.
It's just like
I feel like Sasha would really have to step out of line in order for that to happen. I think it would have to be it would have to be like Connie's death or something like that,
Yeah.
I think that if those three characters stay alive, and by three I mean Sasha, Jean, Connie, then again it's kind of status quo with Sasha. She's kind of just like a great ally, and yeah. And Eddie goes and be a peeping Tom with her.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Okay, we have one more.
One more response, okay.
Thank you for that film, by the way.
Yeah, I appreciate that film.
Appreciate it.
Response.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron's fears of knowing the future might not have been confirmed is crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, last one we have. For if Sasha never died, how would the overall story have changed? Is from Bobby.
Okay.
And Bobby says, maybe less character development from a few key people. Like, for example, Gabi calming down or a less frantic Connie.
Yeah. Those are two characters that we have spoken already a lot about. And again, it just goes to show that like Sasha's character
death does really affect those.
Yeah, and again, another one too that you can throw in there as well would be, of course, Niccolo as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it's a great great response as well.
Yeah,
everybody
thank you
has
to
such
all
great
of you that
responses.
responded. It was really good.
You guys did a great job. Those are some awesome responses.
Yeah, thank you guys for all your responses.
Yeah.
I love reading through them all. You had me actually thinking.
Cool.
I know. We talked about it for like
next
an hour.
week. Let's do 20.
I know. Let's get all of them up. We're gonna ask you some more loaded questions.
So right here, Eddie has a question too in terms of what Connie had to do. So Eddie goes, or what if she shot Samuel and Daz? Yeah, I think that she would also be there to help Connie with that moment, because that was a difficult moment for Connie to have to go through with.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Appreciate you guys again. Great responses.
Good answers.
We appreciate all the responses, and I can only hope that whenever we do post Q&As, that you guys continue to go ahead and give us your thoughts and your insights, because we really do enjoy talking about them over on the podcast.
Yeah.
So thank
and
you
if
guys.
you guys have any more ideas, let us know. We've used so many of your ideas in our Q&As, so please do.
Exactly. All right. So, shall we go ahead and jump into the story?
Ooh.
We do have a little bit to go ahead and cover. We are going to start off on an emotional note, because we ended the episode with an emotional moment.
Oh my gosh. I guess.
Again,
I guess we'll start with this. We can't skip it.
I know.
We can't skip this part.
You want to just make some more Q&A responses?
I know.
So
We'll just go over this one next week, guys.
again, this is season 4, episode 8, Assassin's Bullet. This is part 3 of our breakdown and discussion. The best recap that I can do would just be to say that Gabi has infiltrated because she shot down Lobov, who was a scout trying to help the remaining scouts rendezvous to the airship so that they can head home. Gabi figured out how to go ahead and use a Ding ODM gear. Falco decided to go ahead and, of course, follow. They made their way over to the airship. And while some of the scouts were celebrating, and there was some other business being held over in more quiet quarters, which we're going to talk about, because we did get a little bit of a, kind of a smoky presence that's there that we're going to go ahead and focus on in this episode.
Something's a bit steamy back there.
Yeah. And, well, Gabi has, she infiltrated the airship. Sasha heard a noise. The celebration was too loud. Jean could not quiet the group down. And Gabi was able to go ahead, roll into formation, go ahead and aim and pull the trigger. And while she pulled the trigger, she did, unfortunately, she connected with the scout.
She is a sharpshooter.
She shot Sasha square in the chest, and that's what we left off with, was with Connie reacting, Jean reacting, and that's where we're gonna go ahead and begin this episode. So, you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We continue the episode as Gabi reloads her rifle. We can also see Falco now just entering the enemy airship. Gabi focuses after reloading, aiming her weapon at the Island Devils again. It appears that she's zeroing in on Jean, as Jean can be seen reacting, bracing for another gunshot as he lifts his gun to return the favor. Falco takes notice of Jean's attempt to gun down Gabi as Falco rushes in to push Gabi away, rescuing her. Even though Jean misses, the scouts take this opportunity to rush after the enemies, ganging up, taking turns striking Gabi and Falco. Flock is among the group, as he can be heard telling Gabi and Falco, "Take that, you Marleyan bastards!" Gabi's rifle has been kicked away from her, and Jean now just stands, numb, processing what just happened. Connie can be heard screaming out Sasha's name, trying to get her to respond.
Sasha! Sasha! Hey! Stay with me! Hey!
Jean joins Connie in his efforts to help Sasha, but she appears to be losing consciousness. However, Sasha can be heard, barely saying,
Why are they so loud?
Her consciousness continues to fade as the blood puddle grows.
Are we eating soon, or what?
Jean quickly yells out orders to his fellow scouts.
She's bleeding! Find us some bandages! Hurry!
A scout acknowledges Jean's orders as Connie continues to beg and plead to Sasha.
Come on! Just hang in there!
There's a pause as Sasha is fading, but she responds.
Meat.
The bandages have arrived, and the scouts quickly bandage Sasha's wound. Jean and Connie both stare in a panic, unable to accept this nightmarish reality. The other group of scouts are done pummeling Gabi and Flock as they both have been detained. Flock grabbing both Gabi and Falco by the hair, tells Jean, Lobov's dead. They shot him and climbed aboard using his ODM gear. Jean continues to struggle with this reality. I'll toss them out outside, all right? Jean stares at the kids, then looks at Sasha. Jean then becomes agitated, emotional, and conflicted.
Do you really think tossing kids out of an airship is going to help us stop all this killing?
We see the airship continue to head back home with the 2 infiltrators on board. Okay.
Man, Jean, I get it, dude. When you're in a war like this, it's really hard because someone's got to take an L and walk away.
Yeah.
Someone's eventually going to have to take an L and walk away.
Yeah.
Well, we see that character who wants to go ahead and handle it is Flock, right?
Yeah.
So Flock, he's,
Jacob says, W, Flock, you tell him, bro.
Yeah.
I agree for once.
Yeah.
I know, I agree.
And I think that Jean's conflictions, right? Mm-hmm. He's just trying to go ahead and do the best he can to be like a leader, which we've talked about, what we've seen with, the season 4 arrival of the characters that we're familiar with. And Jean in this moment is so conflicted, he's processing, he's trying to go ahead and realize what's the best method and what to do here, right?
Yeah.
Because I think that...
Because he's also processing losing one of his closest allies.
Of course, yeah. And then the easy and probably most irrational and emotional thing to do would be to go ahead and just immediately kill the 2
easy
infiltrators.
thing would just be, okay, boom, boom.
But
eye for an eye.
I think that just throughout their many experiences, especially when it comes to experiencing, like enemies that are humans, right?
Yeah.
Is that you can't just immediately go to just like gunning them down.
Mm-hmm.
And
they come back, and then you have to do your revenge, and then they come back, and then more revenge. And
I think that
eye for an eye makes the whole world blind.
There is like a kind of like a unfortunately a questioning part here that they're gonna have to go ahead and do and stuff. There's like the whole kind of like logistical part of it, and that comes with, I guess, being a leader. And even though it is very valid for him, just if he did just go ahead and
I wouldn't disagree.
Immediately kill
that decision.
Yeah.
Them.
It's war. I expect honestly more brutality.
Yeah.
But I also get the dilemma that he's dealing with. Because it's like, okay, they showed up and killed many of us. So we showed up and killed many of them. So of course they're going to rebuttal and want to kill more of us.
Yeah.
So should we kill this child because of what she was taught and because of what she just saw?
Yeah.
Because John's probably saying like, dang, I was the same exact way. Like,
yep.
Or, that suicidal maniac was the same exact way.
Exactly.
It's hard. You're in a war, dude. He's like seeing he's actually dealing with what killing and what that violence does to someone. So he's like, crap, man, do I just have to keep doing it back to them?
This is their first war.
Yeah.
Like
real war. Like
this is their first war. Like this isn't man versus beast.
Yeah.
This is man versus man war.
Yeah, you can't like detach, like dehumanize and villainize the enemy because it's not human.
Their enemy isn't
until you discover your enemy is just like you.
Yeah, their enemy isn't just 4 kids who can turn into titans. Your enemy
you're not like trying to reclaim
the ones
land.
who sent them.
Yeah, it's a whole actual society.
Oh, there's normal
that's more advanced than you.
Wow, they're not all Titan shifters.
Yeah.
What?
And also too, I mean, there is that kind of moment where, I mean, it was insinuated that Gabi was trying to go ahead and aim towards Jean.
Yeah.
And so, like, if
she saw the leadership,
of course, Jean goes out and he reacts by also pulling out his gun, right? But if Falco didn't go ahead and try to push Gabi out of the way, who knows who would have shot who first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Because they both barely missed each other.
yeah. And then
She like trimmed one of Jean's little wannabe beard hairs
goatee
off.
hair.
Yeah.
exactly.
She like took off a little sideburn hair.
His soul patch.
He's like, dang it, I'm gonna shoot you just for that.
Yeah, it's funny you talk about the little beard. That's a kind of could be a cool little foreshadowing moment that we're gonna talk about.
Oh yes.
The next
There's some
part
more
here.
little beard going on.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, again, this is a very emotional moment, and like Zach, what you said is a great point too, because this is also us realizing too that like, when I mean us, I just mean like, for us
Viewers.
viewers, this is their first war experience, I guess, against other soldiers.
I mean, this is for not even just us. This is like all of their first experience. This isn't Kenny Ackerman and his goons. This is a whole country you just
This is
invaded.
an organized militia.
Yeah.
Very large organized military with more advancements than you.
Yeah.
And they are intelligent. It's not like it's a Titan. It's an abnormal. Oh no. No, they're all abnormal.
Yeah.
They're all intelligent.
Straight up, without the history,
have
which
guns.
most of the people in Marley don't know, it's just terrorism to most of Marlians.
Yeah.
It's just more parody island terrorism is what it is. To their eyes. It's just all about how you present it.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of propaganda going around.
Yep, Cold War type shit.
Yep.
Also here we see that Sasha is just barely hanging on. She's barely responsive.
She's in her
Connie-
happy place right now.
Connie is
Yeah, she's getting her flashback.
Connie's by her side, and just begging and pleading, and they're trying to do what they can to go ahead and try to address the wound. We're gonna go ahead and in the next part talk about, as I mentioned, the business, the meeting that's happening over in a different room in the airship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, you guys ready to go ahead and continue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little sad still.
I know. I'm just happy that Sasha's in her happy place. She has meat and she's eating and
Yeah, exactly.
she's in her happy place.
All right, let's do this. Here we go. Now continuing. Back on the ground in Liberio, Commander McGoth asks one of his Marlian soldiers.
What happened to Braun and Grice?
The soldier, attending to Peake's injuries, responds.
They ran off. Neither of them said where they were going. I haven't seen them since.
Commander McGoth stares at Peake and her brutal injuries. McGoth then says,
Hey, Peake.
Peake, in rough shape, is able to face McGoth and respond.
Commander, I remember now.
Peake recalls that familiar-looking soldier.
I know that Marlian soldier. The one who led us away from the plaza and into a trap. I know exactly where I saw them last. It was about 3 years ago, during an inspection of the first survey fleet to go to Parody, after Rhina came back from his mission.
Commander McGoth, curious and recalling that inspection, interrupts.
Wait, the scout ships that disappeared?
An exhausted Peake continues.
Yeah, I'm sure of it. That beard looked so unnatural on them.
Now, back to the scout airship. Captain Levi can be heard asking, Hey, how long are you going to make me look at that thing? Ironically enough, Levi can be seen asking that question to previously mentioned soldier, as this soldier is seen rubbing their fake beard. This soldier removes the beard from their face and responds to Levi.
What's your problem? Everyone else likes it.
Captain Levi, this soldier and others are in a separate room in the airship as they hear a loud thud from the door. Captain Levi responds to the noise. Are they still celebrating our victory? Armin and Mikasa can be seen in the same room. However, going back to the entrance of the airship, Gabi decides to scream out to her enemies.
I'll try my best. Let go of me! You haven't defeated us yet, you filthy island devils! You might have killed Zeke, but not his spirit! We'll carry his will forward!
Falco tries to reason with Gabi. Gabi, stop! Flock still awaits orders from Jean. What do we do with him, Jean? Gabi continues her tirade as she locks eyes with Jean.
Us true Eldians are gonna haunt you until you're all rotting in the ground! You tell that bastard who planned this once... Wait, hold on. You tell that bastard who planned this once I'm dead!
Jean tells Gabi.
I think I'll just take you to him. Then you can tell him yourself. Sounds good to you?
The door opens as Mikasa and Armin both react. Standing at the open doorway is Jean with the tied up Gabi and Falco. Gabi and Falco look into the room as we again get a tease of steam in the back of the room. Back in Liberio, Magath continues his conversation with Peak as he asks,
How are you able to recognize them?
Peak answers as she continues to heal.
Well, the soldier happened to be someone I had a personal interest in, because she's a devout follower of Zeke Yeager.
And now, back in the airship, surrounded by steam, and standing beside that mysterious soldier and Eren Yeager, we see the war chief himself, Zeke Yeager. Zeke takes notice of Gabi and Falco's presence in the scout ship as he asks, Gabi, Falco, how did you get here? Falco asks Zeke, what about you? We thought you were dead. Gabi adds,
They took you alive? But how is that possible? Why would you let them?
There is a silence and pause as Zeke and Eren stare at Gabi and Falco. Captain Levi questions, Who the hell are these kids? Jean responds,
They somehow killed Labov, and then used his gear to climb aboard.
We see Jean struggling with this next part.
This one shot Sasha before we could catch her. I don't think she's gonna make it.
Captain Levi's eyes widen, and both Armin and Mikasa gasp. Mikasa and Armin immediately run to the exit to check on Sasha. Now, entering the room from the pilot's cockpit is Commander Hanji, as Hanji tells the pilot,
I'll leave the rest to you, Onya Capone.
Onyon Capone could be heard responding, I'm on it, Hanji! Hanji closes the door and now turns the attention to Zeke.
Well, Zeke, seems everything's played out just like you wanted, wouldn't you say?
Zeke stares at Gabi and Falco as the kids both stare stunned at Zeke's presence. Zeke responds to Hanji, I did make a few miscalculations, but aside from that, I would. Gabi and Falco now are completely stunned to find out that Zeke orchestrated this plan, as Gabi questions.
Zeke?
To be continued.
Dun dun dun!
Miscalculations.
So, it's strange, especially obviously from the point of view from Gabi and Falco, to find out who ultimately is like the one pulling the strings. And I say pulling strings with air quotes because ultimately the story's going to play out and we see what's really happening.
Who is the first puppeteer in the line of puppeteering?
His plan, but Aaron's agenda, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Zeke's battle, Aaron's war.
Mm-hmm.
And then so this is a moment here where obviously
He's feeling all cool. He's like, yeah. Real successful.
But Zeke has he and Aaron have a plan, right? And we're gonna learn more about that plan later on in the story. But here it is, confirmation that character, the mysterious character, is over in the airship that we see is kind of surrounded by steam. It's Zeke.
We know who that is.
Right, it's been implied.
And so do Gabi and Falco.
Yeah.
They know who that is.
And so to kind of just go back to what we started off with, right? We go ahead and we begin this part of it over in Liberia. We see Commander Magath. He's trying to gather information. He's trying to find out what the hell happened to Gabi and Falco. And we see that Peak is still obviously in really rough shape. She's essentially has like a, I don't know, like a hole in her stomach. You know, she's healing, right? And we understand that like the Cart Titan,
She was pretty torn up.
their strength is essentially their, you know, their stamina, right? And so she's exhausted. We see that she's still, of course, coherent, and she's, you know, so conscious, and she is able to inform Commander Magath about some interesting information here. You know, this is a character that we do not get confirmation yet as far as the name, but we know who this is. And this specific mysterious character had a very noticeable fake beard, at least to Peak. And she recalls really how she recognizes this soldier from, right? And she states that it was a character that Peak saw 3 years ago during an inspection of the first survey fleet that went to Parody, right? And that's when this was after Ryan came back from his mission. Okay, and that's when Commander Magath says, "Wait, the scout ships that disappeared." We heard about these ships that disappeared and never came back. We find out that 3 years ago, this mysterious character was on that ship. And another interesting thing was at Peak, she continues saying that the beard looked so unnatural on them, right? And then when I go ahead and continue here to go, let's see. Let me find Peak's next part. Let's see. Yeah, trying to find Peak's line right here. Excuse me. Here we go. Back in Liberia. So when Magath asked Peak how you were able to recognize them, right? Peak responds with saying, "Well, the soldier happened to be someone that I had a personal interest in." Right? We can talk about that, right?
Interesting.
And she says that it's because this mysterious character is a devout follower of Zeke Yeager.
Devout.
Yeah.
And I agree.
So that's a stand right there.
They are definitely Yeagerists.
That's
and by they, I mean Yelena and Onya Capone.
Yep.
Because, I mean, we'll go over it later, but before all this, what we didn't see was a meeting between them all.
Yeah.
And that's why we see Hanji talking to Onya Capone so nicely, because it's like they've met multiple times. They've hung out. They've already had their whole lines, and, you know.
Well, I mean,
assuming that
Sasha's already been accidentally racist to him. It's fine.
Oh, yeah.
We missed that. I mean, but this isn't the last we see of Sasha. She's accidentally racist to Onya Capone in future episodes.
That's her final word in the story.
When we get a flashback. Yeah, those are her finals.
Fuck, I had my point, then I lost it. That's funny.
Oh, that they had a meeting and that Hanji's been...
Oh, yeah. Well,
with
assuming we
Onya Capone.
follow the timeline, they've been there for 3 years. So they've known each other for a while now.
Yeah.
well, there's been,
now that
I'm
we're knowing the
sure,
timeline.
to both your points, there have been many meetings,
Yeah.
right? And how Peak knows that this character is a devout Zeke follower
Yeah. What does
is
that mean?
interesting because I'm wondering, like,
What do you mean personal interest?
Is
Special
Peak-
interest?
right? But is Peak still continuing to do like recon? Because we know that she was
She's probably doing recon. the whole
Probably
time.
is, just because of her Titan ability.
That's
Yeah.
her.
Probably
that's
are
her
like, let's just
goal.
use that girl. She could be in that for...
like how
I mean,
would
we
she
see
know?
when Porco finds her, she's on all fours. She's like, it's
how,
just more natural.
So how would she know then that how would she know so much information?
I don't know. All we know is that she said she's a devout follower.
Yeah.
Or no, she said that, yeah, she's a devout Zeke
Well,
follower.
she-
And she said she had a special interest in this person.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that means.
She was probably.
I think you were thinking the same thing I was
I don't know what that means, girl.
I think I know what that means.
She's a little bit curious.
Yeah.
But she's also in Marley before she came to Parody anyway. So
Yeah.
she probably saw her climb up the rank and saw her admiration for Zeke. And I'm sure.
And was like, who is this 6'2" woman?
Yeah.
Well, that's what it is too. Is obviously a character like that's
Hard
gonna
presence
stand
to
out
witness.
for sure. And then so in the scene when she's
Yelena's a
talking
pretty
to,
noticeable character.
when Pika is talking to Magath, the scene that she's referring to, we do see on the episode where it shows like Yelena or Yelena, right? Where it shows Yelena amongst another group of soldiers that are on the ship that's going to go ahead and be part of the fleet that goes over to Parody.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So and
True.
I just was kind of curious and wondering,
Thank you,
it's
Jacob.
like,
Thank you for that.
how does Peak know so much information?
Well, you have to think too. I feel like it's also her and Zeke are heavily intertwined with war. If that's one of Zeke's go-tos, I'm sure they run into each other on the battlefield here and there, or at least cross paths here and there.
And pretty privilege. People want to tell Peak stuff.
Yeah. Also, I'm sure it's not hard to set up a watchman outside Zeke's post. Mm-hmm. And saying who's going in and out most often.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't
Some
remember
dude
the
with a
fake
weird beard.
You don't?
I do.
No, it's like the
It's just a chin strap.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
a chin strap, you know?
Yeah, it's just a chin strap.
It's like a line of like fake hair.
There's
that
no
she just
mustache.
glued
Yeah.
on. Yeah, beardo, you know?
She's also the one that led Galliard and Peak away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how she was like, I recognize this person.
Yeah. So again, that point being that Magath is trying to get as much information as he can. Right now that the destruction over in Liberia, it seems to be done. And Peak again, we see the state of where she's in. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So now we go ahead and get to that meeting. Right. At least what appears to be, meeting of kind of really important figures amongst Parody and those that they're kind of doing these plans with obviously Onion Capone being the pilot, Yelena being heavily involved in meetings and conversations with Zeke and with Aaron.
Strategist.
Obviously Zeke is there. We see Mikasa and Armin there. And
We got the heavy hitters.
Levi is there. And so when John, I don't want to get too ahead of myself here. So first things first, right?
Okay.
Of course, Levi makes fun of Yelena's beard. Okay, let's see. They hear the thud. They hear the noise, right? So I'm assuming that what they hear is going to be ultimately, them trying to go ahead and get a hold of Gabi and Falco, right?
Yeah.
So that's probably what the loud thud is and stuff, Little did they know it's literally, a group of soldiers just beating the shit out of two kids, right? But I mean, at least one of them deserved it.
Yeah, one of them truly deserved to get beat.
Yeah. And so
Stoned even.
The other one was
might say.
just like, I guess.
yeah, he was
I'm
just
here.
guilty
The other
by
one just,
association.
for some reason, for love, he came for the ride.
Yeah.
Literally. So, all right. So now we get to the meat and potatoes of it. Shout out to Sasha. So
Meat and potatoes. Shout out to Sasha.
Oh, last word.
John opens the door and shows the two infiltrators, the two kids, and I think it's interesting too, right? Talking about Gabi's words to Jean. She's very bold. She obviously does not fear death, right?
Yeah.
And she says, "You haven't defeated us, you filthy island devils. You might have killed Zeke, but not his spirit will carry his will forward." Again, this obviously sets up the blind side that she's ultimately going to go ahead and see. And she continues saying, "Us true Eldians are going to haunt you until you are all just rotting in the ground. You tell that bastard who planned this once I'm dead." All right. I think it's pretty cool and cold-blooded that Jean, he's dealing with this, but he's just like, why don't I just take you to him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and
you want to see
explain
the
it to
big
him.
He
boss?
probably was
I don't
like-
want to deal with you.
Yeah, he probably was
There.
like, I'm going to enjoy this. Like,
Yeah.
you guys don't know what you think you know.
I know. Exactly.
Like, I hate you. You just shot Sasha.
I feel
The
like
second they said Zeke, it's probably
literally,
like,
Yeah. He's like,
I was
oh.
going to say.
the I'll take you to him
Okay.
is probably too Zeke.
No. I know.
Exactly. I was going to say the same thing. The moment that
They all
Gabi
think
said
that's
the word
Zeke's plan
Zeke.
anyway.
You haven't destroyed
Yeah.
our will in our fight. We have Zeke. Oh, really? Get over here.
Yeah,
no.
exactly.
Zeke has us.
Yeah.
So when he goes,
No, we have Zeke.
I'll just take you to him. Then you can tell him yourself. Does it sound good? Like that's John. I'm gonna give you your flowers here, man. You're going through
That
a
was
lot in
kinda
this
cool.
moment,
Very
but
mature.
that was a cool moment.
That was very demure,
Yeah.
very elegant.
yeah.
That was pretty cool of you, John. Not gonna lie. I guess.
All right. So now
You're
again,
not that bad of a character.
That's why Sasha needed to die.
Yeah,
Just so
yeah.
that you can have
No.
that cool.
no, not
No.
worth.
no. All right. So
Watch
now
Gabby get hit with a horse.
exactly.
Yeah, let's see more of that.
So the door's open. Jean is standing there. Obviously the characters
Yes,
over in the
Jacob, you're very
room.
demure.
They go ahead and they look over at Jean and these two children, right? And so let me find my spot again. All right. We see Zeke. This is in reference to the moment that Peak essentially references this mysterious soldier. Zeke's revealed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Zeke is the one that
buddy.
first reacts to Gabi and Falco, right? And he sees him. And in the moment, if you watch the episode, one thing that kind of caught a little bit of my attention is that Zeke lets out like a gasp,
Yeah.
you know, like a serious
heavy,
like
heavy
Yeah.
miscalculation.
He's like, "Whoa, what
yeah,
are you
like-
doing here?"
Like literally, it's just like a
Of
You know.
all of all people,
I know.
to see get dragged up into an airship of free will.
yeah.
Yeah, of course
Of
it's
course, it's your problem child
Yeah.
it's Gabi and Falco.
and her ball and chain.
Falco's
Yeah.
there too.
It's like the prodigy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, what are we doing with these two?
Yeah.
He probably left and was like, thank God I don't have to see any of those people again. I could just live my will with my brother and da da da. And then he was like,
I never have to deal with those kids ever again.
it's like, I'll never have to see Gabi again. And then
No,
someone
he's
was
gonna
like,
have to see her a
oh my
lot
God.
more.
yeah.
Oh my God.
And so they go ahead and the kids now, they see Zeke, right? And so, of course, they are also very much surprised because what was Gabi just telling Jean, you know, like, you may have killed Zeke, but we will continue, you know, blah, 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 this and that, you know, his will live forward, all that, you know, nonsense, right? And so they at this point think that, well, at least Falco thinks that, like, you know, well, I don't want to say Falco thought that maybe he was captured, right? But Gabi says, like, how is it possible that they took you alive? Like, why would you let them? Right? Like that
Yeah.
word, that sentence is very important. Like, why would you let them?
Why would you let
It's
them?
goes to
Obviously,
show-
he could transform right now. And
Yeah.
Like,
It just goes to show what they think of Zeke, right? As this war chief.
yeah.
But
Like, no way you would have ever gotten taken. Why did you let them take you?
these kids, man, don't get it twisted that there is one bad motherfucker over in that airship. And his name is Levi.
Levi Ackerman. There's
Like-
another Ackerman there too. You have Mikasa there.
That's true, right? There's a few heavy hitters in there, man.
Yeah, like I said earlier,
You know? And
man.
also, let's not forget too, there's a freaking colossal titan on that ship
I
as
know
well.
there is too. I mean,
you
he's a
know-
little worried about. He's a
And
little
Attack
worried about his friend
Titan
right now.
and
But
founder,
Yeah.
a colossal, two Ackermans, Hanji,
Yeah.
Jean Connie,
Yeah, I mean, there's some heavy hitters on
and
there.
there was Sasha.
Yeah, there was Sasha. Damn. Yeah, you're right. There was. So
Onya Capone, best pilot.
and Onya Capone,
yeah.
of course.
So then,
Capone.
obviously Levi, he sees that Zeke, you know, knows these kids. I can only imagine what Levi's thinking in this moment too, because he's probably like, all right, like
I could use
I'm
that.
already having to fucking deal with this guy Zeke, right? I don't need any other more like loose ends here, right? So like, what's going on? He even asked like, you know, who are these
He's
kids?
probably seeing Zeke's reaction, being like, if he doesn't want them here,
Yeah.
I don't want them here. He looks. It doesn't look like he's like, oh, what a surprise. He's like,
Yeah.
fuck these kids. And Levi's probably picks up on. He's like, what trouble is on my fucking ship right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly,
He's like,
right?
oh, God.
And also, we can't forget too. There's another heavy hitter on that ship. You know, just confirmed here in chat. Jacob says that he too was on that ship.
Read
Wow.
that name.
Oh,
out
you were
loud.
there.
He goes,
Jacob
I was there
Yeager,
too.
Flock
Jacob
Ackerman.
Yeager, Flock Ackerman.
Yeah,
Smitty Werber Jacobmanshire.
yeah.
He was number one.
There you go. So yeah, Levi is now thinking, okay, obviously, things are different now. Whatever the plan is,
I got interrogation tools.
it didn't
Yeah.
involve children.
There's someone on there that loves
They're
interrogating.
like, we're taking children prisoners now. Is that what we're doing now?
He's like, what are we doing?
Okay.
He's like, I thought we were done with children. These people just started growing up. Please.
But then, unfortunately, you get the news now from John, as John explains, and he says that they killed Lobov and they used his gear to climb aboard. That was already the news. It was kind of like that's not news that they want to hear, right? But then we see Jean pauses. This next part is really difficult for him because obviously of how fresh it is, and Jean tells them that this one, right, pointing over at Gabi, this one shot Sasha before he can catch her, and I don't think that Sasha's gonna make it. And that sentence, you can see, sends chills to Armin and Mikasa. Right?
Yeah.
Levi's eyes widen. He is just like, when I talked about how seeing children on board and how I was like, great, like, now what? When you hear that one of your strongest allies is potentially not going to make it,
One of your longest time-wise allies.
One of-
in this
True.
world, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
like
that's
this
true.
was, his.
For
They're still alive?
For Levi in particular, that's a big. Not just you went on a couple scout missions with me for a year, Levi squad. You've been with me for now over 3-4 years now.
Yeah, I'm actually curious to find out, like, which Levi squad members survived, as far as duration wise, longer with, Levi, right? Like, who was a Levi squad, like,
Who's got the longest record for being a Levi squad member
Yeah.
besides Levi, obviously?
and so, like, was it the OG? Like, how long were they Levi squad members for and stuff, or did, the next Levi squad members, did they outlive them and stuff, and, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of, I'd be curious to go ahead and find that out.
Our crew has to have the longest record by far, like multiple years. They would have deaths every return.
Yeah. Because I can't think about when they were recruited, the original Levi squad. We just kind of were introduced to them and what their kind of like stats were and stuff,
We knew that they were known.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we all know that some of them were in the same recruiting class, like, Otowo and I'm blanking on her name, fucking Petra.
Petra. Yeah.
I was going to say Peak. I was like, it's not Peak.
Just another P.
Yeah.
PE.
Another
Petra.
P name. Another PE name.
And then there's, there's Elgin, and then there's Gunther
Gunther.
that I can't remember for sure, but I don't know if they were also part of the same class or because they're both are kind of like the 1A 1B leaders of
I think they had like a rivalry.
King Otowo.
King Otowo.
Yeah. But
Down with the king.
yeah, I don't know. We do know that Otowo was 19 when he died, even though he looked like he was 30.
Yeah.
Who had the stress of a 50-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otowo and Eren are the same age when they died.
Crazy.
One had
definitely
more
looked
stress,
better than
but
the
the other one looked better.
Yeah, for sure. So anyways, they go ahead and they get the news.
Technically, I feel like Aaron had more stress.
That's what I'm saying. Eren had
Oh.
more stress, but he ended up looking better for some reason. The one with less stress.
Yeah.
I think Odo technically looks better.
Otowo looks better than Eren.
Bro's
Well,
got lacerations on his face and shit.
that's true. He's been through a lot. They don't at least look at the same age. It's weird.
Yeah, they definitely don't.
So they go ahead and they get the news. They're obviously shocked, stunned. As I mentioned, Mikasa and Armin immediately run to Sasha's aid. Because they have to see it for themselves, right? When you go ahead and you
You
get
have to
the
witness
news,
it.
you have to literally witness and see, what's happening, right? And then, and even finding out how it happened. Obviously, Jean explained about, this one here pointing to Gabi was the one who did it. And I'm surprised, that, I guess I'm not surprised because, again, they want to go ahead and be there with Sasha. But I was going to say, I'm not surprised that, like, Mikasa didn't do anything to Gabi or something, or like ask her or immediately get in her face or something,
Yeah.
But again, they have to be there to, for Sasha, right? So, and now at that time, Hanji just misses, she just missed the news that Jean was, just told them, and when she sees, when she says, "I'll leave the rest to you," to Onion Capone. There's no layers to that, right? It's
No,
just
I
get
think
us
she's
home.
just talking about like flying.
Yeah, it's just get us home, because I'm trying to think like there
It's
isn't
probably
anything
just
that,
like, oh my god, this airship is so
no
cool.
underlying message
yeah, there's
there.
nothing
It's just
that
fly the
like as
ship.
far as more like discrete plans or whatever and stuff, right? It's just get us home safely, right?
I don't think so.
Okay. So now Hanji, like her tone changes when she speaks to Onion Capone to when she like
Goes
talks to Zeke.
Yeah.
Right. It's like a way where it's like, well, Zeke, it seems everything played out just like you wanted. Wouldn't you say? It's almost like sarcastic,
I know. Like, well, now what?
Your country's burning.
Yeah. And Zeke again, he just stares over at these kids, these damn kids, right? And he refers to them as miscalculations. And I don't think that's what Gabi and Falco expected their war chief to refer to them as.
Like the fact that she's the first one, the fact that Zeke is the first person that she thought of when she was like, "We're not done. We're gonna keep fighting. We have Zeke."
Yeah.
Or whatever. It just shows how high
We're
she
fighting
holds
his
him
honor.
in her head. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Bro, no."
He's in the
No.
other room like this fucking dumbass.
I know.
Yeah. And then too, like think about like how much of a freaking like just like I don't know, a devastating feeling that is when you obviously think that your war chief has been, murdered in combat, and it's like, okay, like we'll go ahead and we'll continue to fight in his honor, and then to find out that this said figure is just a traitor, right? Or
Who
at
planned the
least-
first attack on your home soil?
yeah, like.
Yeah.
She's already lost so much. She's seeing this kind of this capacity of war against these island devils and stuff, firsthand. She's trying to go ahead and like, do what she believes is right, and then you see this. Like I can't help but think that like, this is just another like a life lesson,
Punch in the gut.
Yeah.
Like this is a life lesson, and to
Don't
these
trust
kids,
the government.
right? And then so it's like. In war, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's just
Everyone's true color shows.
it's a moment where people can have their own agendas, kind of, I guess, which we go ahead and we see here with Zeke and his brother, right? And another thing too, keep in mind that we're focusing on this part of the episode, but there's a certain Jaeger that hasn't even said a word, and we're going to go ahead and learn about his kind of response to the whole Sasha news, and we'll continue on with how the rest of this plays out. But Gabi is just mind fucked right now. She's
Yeah,
like, wait,
she's
what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As processing.
As
yeah.
really were any of us watching it for the first time, we're like, wait, hold on, wait, what's going on here now?
Like, why is he in their ship?
But I guess it did kind of go ahead and, like you even said when we talked about the moment where Levi killed Zeke or whatever, that like anybody watching that would be like, wait, that was too easy.
For Zeke,
Yeah.
for someone who we spent seasons 2 and 3 building up to go down like that, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like this really just goes out there and validates people's kind of suspicions and stuff, but also it's still kind of like a oh shit moment. Like wait, what? Like Zeke's working with them?
It's been long
Yeah.
enough since that moment where you forget about it.
Yeah.
Like, is he a traitor? Do
Especially
we hate
if
him?
it's
Do we
coming
hear him
out
out? Do we
weekly.
hate these people? Like, what's going on?
Exactly. But yeah, like I said, we'll go ahead and we'll continue on with the episode next week. We'll finish off episode 8 and continue on with the story. But that's all we got for you guys over in this podcast episode. And I do
We're
want to go
still
ahead.
not over Sasha either.
No, we're
at
not.
all. Not at all. And we still got that's going to be a lingering pain because we still have to go ahead and talk about Sasha next week as well. And
Yes.
we do get more
And
Sasha.
this is not the last that we see.
No. But again, appreciate you guys so much. The responses that we got in the Q&A was
I know.
it was just
We asked you a loaded question and you
Some
gues
great
delivered.
responses, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, 100%.
Wow.
So I appreciate you guys so much. But that wraps up another Time to Talk episode. Again, as we go ahead and let all of our friends know to make sure just to follow along over on Instagram. at Attack the Talk Podcasts for all of your updates. And that's where, again, we talked about the Q&A. The Q&A will be posted there. We do post poll questions as well, and we will post those all on Instagram and over on our profile page. And we have our link tree available over in our bio. So again, if you're ever curious to see where you can go ahead and to where you can, see us, listen to us, however you want to go ahead and check out the podcast, you can go ahead and do it over on the different platforms we have available in that link tree, or you can just join us live whenever we stream on Twitch. Yeah. So I do, of course, want to go ahead and shout out.
We have our code as well.
Nate. Nate Plays Bad.
Thank you, Nate.
Shout out to Nate.
I know that guy.
Nate,
he's pretty cool.
Again, helps us out so much. I mean, he helps me out so much. Nate. What I do is I go ahead, I give Nate the information, and Nate's like, thank you, I'll get it done. And then next thing you know, the episodes are available for publish. And I'm like, appreciate you, bro.
Couldn't be here without
Thank
Nate.
you so much. And so, like, again, Nate.
Life simple.
Nate, while you never see Nate on camera, Nate is a freaking important part of the podcast.
The well-oiled machine.
The episodes are available really because of Nate and getting everything together and available for publish. And, just again, so thankful and appreciative of Nate. So thank you, man.
Love you, little bro.
We have our code. Who wants to read the code?
Code love. Love you all.
Thank you so much.
Jacob says the code is love because he loves
that,
us
Jacob.
all.
We love you too, man. And we just love the Attack the Talk community, all of our friends. And again, I'm always at a loss for words. Well, I should say I'm not a loss for words because I say a lot of words, but I'm at a loss for
more words.
Just that feeling that I get. It's a special one. Like I'm at a loss because it's so crazy to think that this is something that's in my life, to go ahead and do like a weekly podcast and have a community where our friends go ahead and pop in live and they go ahead and they tell us what they've been up to. They go ahead and they join us and they chat along with us, and it's just a really special and genuine connection that I feel very blessed and fortunate to have. And again, you guys are just so important to my life, and we hope that we try to do, just a good podcast, for you guys, something that you guys are, going to enjoy, something you guys are going to be, proud of and stuff. And so just eternally just thankful for all of you guys' support. And, it's again, it's a special thing to be able to go ahead and kind of just have that kind of connection and stuff. And, appreciate that's a beautiful code. So code love, and love you guys so much. There's not much I have to say other than just good podcast, guys.
I know.
Good podcast.
And we could delve in so much more too.
Yeah.
I know.
We can.
Yeah, 100%. But just keep spreading the love and positivity, guys. The world is a crazy thing, but we'll just try to do our part as just people who just try to be, kind and caring individuals. And again, it doesn't take much sometimes. So that being said, just please enjoy the rest of the week. Be safe. I'll see you guys next week, and I love you guys. All right, unless you guys go and say your goodbyes.
You want?
Yeah, I got you. In a world where a lot of people talk about the darkness in the media, be the light and the goodness, and try to give a compliment out every day. Make it better tomorrow. Love you guys. Thank you for the support. You guys did a great job with the Q&A this week. Keep it up.
Yeah, I don't have much to say. Thank you guys so much for all your... I say I don't have much to say, but I'm going to say much. Thank you guys for all your guys' support in our little podcast and on Attack the Talk podcast on Instagram. Your guys' when you guys send us little clips or you guys let us know your thoughts in the Q&A, it means a lot to us. So keep doing it, please. And